For those who are new or unfamiliar with my content, I would like to give a disclaimer. Slow Damage has an extremely self-destructive main character, and his nonchalant comments about his lack of concern for himself does trigger my nervous laughter. If you'd like to view my content that covers dark or intriguing subjects like this one, please consume it responsibly and know that this content is not for minors. I want to emphasize that if you experience any of the severe symptoms that Towa does, I highly encourage that you seek professional help rather than view this playthrough. Hey yo. Hello and good evening. I think this is the intro. Yeah? Yeah! Oh my gosh. We're finally here. Hello and welcome to Slow Damage by nitro+chiral. Finally! It's been a very long time since I have played a nitro+chiral game. Dramatical Murder is the famous title from nitro+chiral. If you know what I mean. Let's see here, hold on. I do not think you guys can hear the volume, so give me a second here. There we go. We're getting somewhere. The volume is really low, so I will adjust the volume as we see fit. But yes, let me start again. Hello, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a pre-recorded video, a pre-recorded let's play, a pre-recorded anything actually. So bear with me. We're going on a wild ride today. For those not familiar, nitro+chiral is the sorry, I'm gonna keep laughing. nitro+chiral is a visual novel company that specializes in boys love dating sim games. I'm gonna say it that way for legal purposes. But nitro+chiral is known to have some buck wild games. DMMD, Dramatical Murder. I like to call it the vanilla series of nitro+chiral. because in my mind it truly is the most vanilla out of most of their series. Yeah. I will not elaborate. I will just say sweet pull. So so I'm very excited to finally play this game. It's been a very long time since I've played one of these. I'm excited. I'm very excited because nitro+chiral doesn't care about what everybody else is doing. They are the trendsetter in their minds. That's just what I'm assuming. So, for those who don't know, this game is mature. So when the spicy parts come up, I will edit it because I'm being risky just by playing this game. I did see like 1 or 2 people live stream this. I don't know how, but they did. And but I am only ever so slightly risky, so we are just going to play this together, and you can leave your comments later. I'm I would like to keep my channel, thank you very much. But I bet you this this game is not going to be promoted. This video will not be pushed on the algorithm, and you know, that's okay, because we're gonna have a good time today. We're gonna meet these guys. I'm very excited. So for Romance Month, this is our Romance Month special, which will probably continue into the next couple of months, because this game will probably take quite a while to get through. As most nitro+chiral games, there are, I believe, visibly 4 men for us to romance, smooch, get into toxic relationships with. Please heed the warning as placed at the beginning of this video. Nitro+chiral games are not for the lighthearted. If any of those things upset you, or they're not something you can watch, please do not watch this video. please watch a different video that's a lot less dark and a lot less upsetting or difficult for you. Please watch responsibly when you guys watch with me, you know. I know what I'm doing, but I also know not everybody can take all subject matters that I can. Even I can't take it sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So, okay. So let me stop being long-winded and let's just get to it. I hope you guys are ready. I know I am. I'm so excited. So this is the exit button. Oh, is that paint thinner? That's cute. Tools in setting. Let's look at the settings though. Skip unread text. Off. Change color of red text. Yeah, that's always helpful. And voice playback. Synchronize text speed with voice. We'll just go with it. We'll see. You guys are funny. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good here. Just wanted to give it a try. Okay, this is my window size. Yeah. Ooh, character voices. Miscellaneous women, miscellaneous men. I see how this is gonna be. Ooh, everything begins to decline at a slow, leisurely pace. Okay, perfect. I think we're good. Let's go back. Okay, now let's start for real. Are there any other fancy buttons? I see the little silhouettes of everybody. Oh, yeah, no. Yep, really is. Okay. I'm slightly afraid, but also slightly excited. There's gonna be time. Let's go! Oh boy. Ooh! Yeah, that's damage, alright. I love how this is called slow damage, but I bet you it's gonna be anything but slow. Damage-wise. Ooh. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Oh, great. Before we begin, here's a helpful explanation of the interrogation gameplay segments. Great. You'll need this information because interrogation can be tricky. Oh boy, here we go. You'll be able to skip this tutorial on subsequent playthroughs. During interrogation, as you speak to your target, try to fill the euphoria gauge. Doing so will progress the story. Well, this is gonna... Oh boy, let's go. That's your ultimate objective in every interrogation. Talk to him and try to expose his secret. Okay, the text you see in your memo pad will serve as a hint. Act accordingly to make progress in the interrogation. That being said, it's only a hint, and isn't necessarily always the right choice, of course. Depending on the flow of conversation and your target's body language, you may want to take things in a different direction. Your choices will determine the outcome. Already looking spicy. Ooh. 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 Are we going through the sample? Okay. Next, let's talk about the hourglass and jagged lines. Oh, okay. Let's talk about it. Fill the hourglass to the line at the middle. So, that little white line. And the sand will start glowing. This means you've achieved full euphoria. Oh boy. As you approach full euphoria, the red line will flash, letting you know you're almost there. The purple line at the bottom is the minimum baseline for euphoria. If the sand should fall below this line... Uh-oh. Oh? That was easy. It will result in a game over, so be careful. Well, I don't want that, because then I'll have to restart. The sand will glow to warn you if you start to get too close. The jagged line represents the target's madness. In other words, their emotional wounds. As their wounds are ripped open, madness will increase. At the blue fill line, you'll achieve full madness as you approach. It will start glowing. Oh boy. At full madness. Oh! The hourglass will start to crack like so. So to recap, at full euphoria, the sand will glow. And at full madness, the hourglass will crack. As the wound closes, madness will decrease. Achieving full euphoria will complete the interrogation, but full madness will lead to other paths and affect the ending. Route branching only occurs during important story scenes, but the results of each interrogation will impact the euphoria and madness of the ones that follow. High euphoria will grant a euphoria bonus. Bonus! Okay, low madness will inflict a madness penalty. And high madness will grant a madness bonus. So you're basically saying, stay horny, stay crazy? That's what I'm getting here. This includes the euphoria and madness tutorial. To check your objective, move the cursor to the right-hand edge of the screen. That way, you won't forget. That way, I will Oh? You're the vampire everyone's talking about, right? Shady man. No, I'm not a vampire. Give a positive response to agree. Give a negative response to disagree. Okay. During the interrogation, you can respond with negative. Okay. Passive answers are negative, while more assertive answers are positive. Okay. Passive are negative. Okay. So again, what I'm hearing, just click positive and go, 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 baby. Oh, this is terrible. Okay. This decision will affect your target's euphoria and madness. He looks truly miserable. Wow. Their status is displayed at the bottom of the screen, so choose carefully to raise their euphoria. As for raising their madness, why don't you give it a try? I don't want to raise his madness. I feel so bad already. I mean, it seems like if you want to raise madness, wouldn't it just be negative? No. Let's just hold on. I want to test it. Positive. Towa looks really cool. I'm sorry. I didn't realize he looked that cool. Because like in the promos, it was very like fast, so I didn't like give that much of a look. Deny it all you want, but that's how people see you. I feel so bad. Use inspiration to dig deeper, or not, your choice. Here's what you'll use inspiration. You'll use inspiration gained by talking to people in the exploration segments. We'll talk more about exploration later. Using your inspiration will impact your target's euphoria and madness. In fact, it gives you a bigger boost compared to negative and positive answers. Really quick, there's a lot going. This is a lot going on. I don't remember Dramatical Murder being this buck wild. That's okay though. I like it. I just remember Dramatical Murder being like, here's this buck wild game that's busted, and I never got to play it. As in like the game within Dramatical Murder. I never got, like, you don't really get to play it. They just talk about it. So that That makes me laugh too. But in this game, it's like, here are a bunch of mini games to seduce the dudes, and I'm like, oh, well, now I know. In fact, it gives you a bigger boost compared to negative positive. Okay. Additionally, inspiration has a few different patterns. 2 choice answers, A or B. Sequential questions, A to B. And even 2 choice answers, A or B, that lead to sequential questions, A to B, B to A. Okay, calm down. There's like an SAT tutorial. If this all sounds confusing, it kind of does. I haven't been in school in a while. Use your inspiration whenever you see something you want to ask more about. And unlike negative or positive, you can always choose not to use your inspiration at all. Oh, okay, so when you're forced into a negative positive, you have to choose. But when we're in this inspiration situation, we don't even have to like use the energy. Okay. So it's required and then unrequired. Okay, sometimes the best option is to say nothing at all. Now let's try it out. What is this? Let's go all in. This is the tutorial, right? What I'm getting from this is that Towa is pretty spicy. Oh boy. Next, let's go over special objectives. Not target. Okay. See how the hourglass is painted over black? Ah, this tells you that euphoria is not the goal this time. Ah, when the hourglass is black, madness is the goal. Oh, and on rare occasions, the goal may be to avoid full madness. You'll have to judge for yourself depending on the circumstances. In situations where euphoria is not the goal, don't let the sand fall too low, or it's game over. This time the hourglass has been repainted white. Okay, it's white. This means the goal has changed back to full euphoria. As you can see, the hourglass may offer hints about the objective. This dude looks so miserable, though. I mean, how am I gonna help the homie? Oh. Ooh, if you fill the euphoria gauge within the specific number of turns, you can use the clues acquired in the story to rip open your target. That was very aggressive. Okay, pick the right clue and the wound will open, progressing the story. But be careful, the wrong choice will lower the euphoria gauge. If you haven't reached full euphoria once it's time to choose a clue, it's game over. And if you fall below the euphoria line, that's game over too. Okay. Now use a clue and see. I will be game overing a lot. Use a clue and see if you can open this man's secret scar. Okay. Is this a clue? Continue the conversation by revealing the target secrets. Okay. What do I do? Ah! Oh, here we go. Thirsty.
喉が渇く.
Ah. Ooh. Oh? Hey, yo! That was kind of aggressive. Was that wrong? Oh, okay. This includes the interrogation tutorial. If you'd ever like a refresher, check the interrogation section of how to play. Without further ado, welcome to Slow Damage. Wow! Oh! It's got like a film noir jazzy. I know the game is about gangster vibe, so I kind of like that direction here. Mori? I'm sorry. Well, it is not. The human heart is soft, like a fistful of fine sand. So, you must be very careful with how you handle it. I'm like holding my breath. I'm just like, what's gonna happen? Oh, I was like, oh, is it Sussy? I'm not quite sure how to describe it. Never imagined my wish would come true. Oh, am I gonna have to put on the blur? You making me so happy. Uh-oh. I don't know about that. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. Not in these games. Drip? Drip. Drip. A drip now. Ooh. Come on, baby. It started to rain. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Mindlessly, I moved my brush. The patter of the rain mingled with the faint scritching of paint spreading across the canvas. The sound slowly filled my empty head. It felt like my insides were melting in the heat of the dark desire I had just harvested. But before that feeling faded away entirely, I needed to get it out of my system. I needed to capture it on the canvas. Towa kinda, you know what I'm saying? Oh no, not visitors. Not the visitors. Who that?
Oi.
Oh.
Oi.
Oi! That's one way to. That's one way to not get me to get up.
いつまで寝てるんだ?
Is this the best friend character? A familiar deep voice spoke into my ear, summoning me back to the waking world. Was it morning or closer to noon? Or was it later than that? I'd slept like the dead, and my perception of time was shot. I lifted my head from the sofa, where I lay face down. My eyelids were practically glued shut. Blinking, I forced them open. What time had I gone to bed last night? Definitely some time past midnight. At some point, I'd passed out on the sofa.
もう昼だぞ。出勤時間はとうに過ぎてる。
This guy has an accent. At this, I sluggishly pushed myself up into a sitting position. Ooh, hello, nurse. Doctor. I usually don't go for the doctors. You guys watch me play Stardew Valley. Harvey gets on my last nerve sometimes. The other man peered closely at me, exuding orange smoke. Oh, orange smoke. Why is it capitalized? We'll find out. This was Murase Takuma, or Taku for short.
お前な、常々思ってるんだが、本当に働く気があるのか?
Calm down.
ああ。
Yeah.
おい、
He said
ちゃん
yeah.
と目を見て返事しろ。
Now, I looked up into Taku's reproachful eyes. His brow was furrowed deeply.
あるって。
As I spoke, I grabbed a pack of cigarettes off the coffee table, pulled one out, and put it between my lips. Ooh. Man, he's got a lot of scars.
悠長にタバコを吸ってる暇があるなら、とっとと起きて支度しろってんだ。
Calm down, Taku. You need to calm down. You're a little too aggressive right now. Right as I lit my cigarette and took my first slow drag, Taku reached out and ruffled my hair. I shook my head slightly to knock his hand away. Yare. Yare, that's what I think. I'm sorry. Taku let out an exaggerated sigh. His other arm carried a stack of clean clothes. He was the sort of busybody who would periodically come into my apartment to clean and do laundry. According to him, it would turn into a pigsty. Oh, it would turn into a pigsty otherwise. And he was correct. He set the clean laundry on the bed, then turned to the door. Taku, I hate to break this to you, we're a painter. What did you expect this room to smell like? There's no, like, he obviously doesn't open the windows. Like, what did you think it was gonna smell like? Roses? Anyway, sorry. See, I'm already being combative. I'm already being combative. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna make myself just a tad smaller because the text is in this corner. Okay. Okay. Because that way you guys won't be blocked too much. Okay. Oh no, you can't. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, he's a painter. What do you mean? If you're trying to flirt, it's terrible. This is a terrible way to flirt. I will not. I will not. Towa and I have that in common. We're not going to. It's not always the TV. Sometimes it's like the computer or my iPad at night to play some noise. I need noise to go to sleep. So no, I will not do that, Taku. How dare you? That's a lie. And with that, he left. The paint smell could be traced to the stuff I'd piled over in the corner. A bunch of canvases, a slapdash collection of paints, a well-worn palette, and a handful of brushes. A forest of rectangular canvases, a disorganized pile of paints, old, worn-out palettes and brushes. The fumes didn't bother me, or maybe I was just used to them by now. Oh. Focus. I gotta stay focused. It's only been like 20 minutes. Calm down. Woo! Okay. Okay, I'm ready. I leaned back against the sofa, cigarette between my lips, forcing my fuzzy brain to think. What happened yesterday? I bit back a yawn. My body felt like lead. Oh, that's right. Yesterday, I'd gone out late at night to drink at the usual place. Then some rando started talking to me. Oh yeah, I hate that. I feel you, fam. I was totally blitzed, so when he invited me to leave, I jumped at the chance without even looking at him. Oh, and then he led me into a narrow alley, and for some reason, we were both so horny we started screwing. You know, this doesn't surprise me, but... Okay. Keep it together. Focus. I'm already laughing. I'm sorry. Just because I like nitro+chiral games doesn't mean I'm not gonna laugh horrendously like I've done with every dating sim game we've played so far. Whether it's actually trying to be funny or not. Okay. Even I can tell you why I was so worked up. Now my back ached from being slammed up against a brick wall. The guy wasn't much of a lay. How old was he? 20s? No, maybe early 30s? Regardless, I might have accidentally taken too many pills when I got home because I slept like a log. It was Taku who prescribed them to me in the first place, since I'd always been kind of an insomniac. The nights I didn't take them, I'd either have terrifying nightmares, or I'd drift in and out of sleep all night long, sometimes until noon. Last night, I was so drunk I couldn't remember how many I'd taken. Nothing new, though. I knew you weren't supposed to take medicine with alcohol in your system. Oh, Towa. Oh, Towa. It's gonna be a time, isn't it? Hold on. Commercial break for a second. Not to criticize Towa, I just met him, but I'm just gonna say, Towa's already buck wild. See, I'm telling you, like, in comparison to Alba of Dramatic Murder, Alba is a saint. You know, he literally just wants to vibe, you know, and then everybody else is just after the owl booty. So, you know, it's just how it is sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So, but Towa is just like, yeah, we just went at it. Coffee. and he's like, oh yeah, you know, I probably shouldn't have, you know, drank all that stuff and then had that medication that says I shouldn't drink. Like, you know, just putting it out there. We're gonna have a great time. As a result, I always felt like Taku kept telling me to knock it off, but I had no plans to stop. I pinched the cig between my fingers, drew my sleeve to my nose, and took a whiff. It reeked of booze, smoke, and sweat. I knew Taku wanted me downstairs ASAP, but I needed a shower. Last time I went to work in this state, the elderly patients all gave me dirty looks. Oh yes, yeah, because they know exactly what you did, honey. That's why. Because they're old people. They're old people and they're judgmental, you know. Cigarette in mouth, I rose to my feet and stretched. And then I became aware of my empty stomach. With the idle realization that my body was hungry, I slid my gaze over the table and floor. What I sought wasn't food, but booze. I seemed to remember leaving a half-empty bottle somewhere around here, but I couldn't find it. Did Taku move it? If so, he probably put it back in the fridge. But to me, getting stuff out of the fridge was too much effort, excuse me. If you offered me food or alcohol, I'd take the booze without hesitation. Food never interested me much. Oh no, he's an alcoholic. No. Oh no. With nothing to drink, my only option was to take one last drag and crush my cigarette in the ashtray. As I exhaled gray smoke, I trudged into the bathroom and stepped into the shower stall. Oh boy, here we go. Ooh, that's the intro. Okay. Let's go! I don't know, am I gonna get DMCA? You know, who cares? This is a montage anyway. Man, Towa's really spicy, you know what I'm saying? Taku, Rei, Madarame, Fujieda. Oh, and then these other guys. Okay. They're very, like, grungy. Yeah, this is very gangster, drugs, rock and roll, edgy, like... Oops. This is like prime nitro+chiral subjects here. oh, what? You're going too fast. You're going too fast. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh, wee! Let's go. Exciting. Wah! Puxu. Okay. I need to stop shaking. My mic is gonna be like, what? Tokyo in the year 2020X. 2020X. Oh boy. After Japan went to great lengths to host the Olympic Games, the international sporting event ended in record-breaking failure. Oops. Oh boy. Burdened with massive debt, the nation was plunged into economic insecurity. Ooh, oh boy. The poverty rate, which had been slowly growing since the late 2010s, showed no signs of abating. Then, starting in the early 2020s, the gulf between the rich and the poor widened dramatically. Young people in particular were especially impoverished, and the underemployment rate soared to more than 60% for both men and women. Just wanted to specify it's all sexes and genders. Even with a full-time job, they knew they would be overworked and underpaid. Thus, the suicide rate shot up, also increasing exponentially among young people for the first time ever. Homelessness and crime rates. Wow, first time ever. Welcome to America. Oh, it's so terrible. The nation of Japan was visibly heading into decline. This was a major recession on a historic level. This is America. Okay, I need to stop. Oh my god. I need to stop. The one outlier was Shinkoumi. Previously called Tokyo Waterfront City, this was the only part of the country where casinos were legally allowed to operate. As a result, it was re-established as a special economic zone. But the government's infamous casino bill received criticism on all sides. At the start of construction, the hired contractor, the Takasato Kumi, was suspected of rigging bids for the contract. After a tremendous struggle, they eventually settled on a more realistic proposal. The bill would only legalize small-scale public casinos in specific areas. When the dust settled, all that remained was a steel frame monument on a vacant lot and a community of prostitutes and vagrants. Yeah, that's usually how that goes. But then there came a turning point. Oh? Yakuza? Oh gosh. The leader of the Takasato Gumi, Takasato Ryujiro, offered to buy the whole thing and take over operation. Yeah, when in doubt, ask the Yakuza for help. And that's not a joke. Everyone assumed it would end in failure, but as it turned out, he received a great deal of funding behind the scenes. In this dark era, the people wanted someone to change things, so they clung to the first ray of hope they thought they saw. Plagued with crushing national debt and a dying economy, the government had no other option. Short time later, after an agonizing debate, the Takasato Gumi was given full control of Shinkoumi development and operations. None opposed the subsequent amendment to the casino bill, which slashed the public-only requirement. I love the use of the graphite effect because Towa is an artist. I love that little detail. A year later, the city was overflowing with people in pursuit of liberty and money. Lured in by the all-encompassing resort facilities, international tourism increased by 60%. and so Shinkoumi became known as Japan's biggest casino resort. Office buildings and recreational attractions sprang up one after another, creating a massive entertainment district. Next came the residential and business districts, and after that, Shinkoumi became the one bright spot amid the devastating depression. Meanwhile, it required a certain amount of aggressive force to control a world full of unspoken rules. As Shinkoumi brought Japan's economy back to life, it's because there's too many syllables. Takasatogumi began to expand their control. Shinkoumi! Welcome, Shinkoumi! Yokozo! I don't think it says Yokozo. I'm missing the kanji. I don't really know how to. I only see the Yokozo. Okay, eventually, when the tacit threats stopped working, the government designated Shinkoumi as a special administrative region. After that, the Takasatogumi essentially had their own little nation that they could govern as they saw fit. Soja boy, tell no, just joking. But this slapdash prosperity was never destined to last long. It never does. Everything began to decline at a slow, leisurely pace. Slow damage! Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Now, more than a decade later, in the year 20XX, so like 2030. Slightly bigger buildings on the corner. Love that. Ooh. The generation born during the decline of the early 21st century were henceforth called hapless children. Dang, that sucks. That's not even a cool title. Day in and day out, they traveled to the business district, either to forget their chronic depression or earn enough money to eat that day. The casino industry was still thriving. The bubble had burst. And as Shinkoumi started to decay, criminal activity became more common. Nevertheless, with one last shred of hope in their hearts, they lingered in this lawless town. I'm just like, as if I'm like, yes, I know exactly what they're talking about. I don't. I'm new here. I'm new to this city. Ooh. There you go. ... It's no use. This just isn't enough. Not anymore. Ooh. I gasp. I'm so sorry. Oh boy. Chapter 1. Fries. Is it phrase or phrase? Because there's no accents or anything. So fries? Or is it fries? Fries? Fries. Sorry. Whatever. You guys will make fun of me later. Just make fun of me later and tell me the correct one. On a quiet corner of a residential block, Murase Clinic stood concealed among the rows of prefab houses. This tiny clinic first opened 7 years ago, privately owned and operated by Murase Takuma himself, specializing in internal medicine, dermatology, and gastroenterology. You thought it was gonna get me. Dr. Murase had an upstanding reputation that attracted patients not just from the local neighborhood, but workers from the business districts too. The clinic opened its doors somewhat late at 10 a.m. That's not too bad. I mean, doctors these days, that's when they open. From 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m., Taku would take a long lunch, and then after he got back, he'd stay open until 1 a.m. Yeah, you know, that's not... Yeah, well, if he's open until 1 a.m., his 1:30 to 4 isn't bad. His unusual hours were dearly appreciated by night workers who couldn't find time to go to the doctor otherwise. I had a part-time job here at this clinic. In exchange for low wages, Taku let me sleep in the apartment upstairs on top floor of the clinic. Below that, the second floor was home to the secondary medical ward full of hospital cots. The primary medical ward was down on the first floor, next to the exam room. As for Taku himself, he didn't live here at the clinic. I never asked for this job or this rented room. It was all his idea. He wanted me to build character, or something. That was why he never fired me, no matter how badly I overslept. Conversely, you could say he didn't put any stock in me whatsoever. I didn't fight it since it would only create more of a hassle, but I wasn't interested in improving my life. He got sick of me and threw me out on the street. Oh, if he got sick of me and threw me out on the street, then so be it. I felt no fear toward the future. Not because I couldn't picture it, but because I had no real sense of urgency. I knew it would all work out regardless. Or maybe I just didn't have anything else left to lose. Good morning! Ohayo, Towa-san! As soon as I walked out of the bathroom, a yawn escaped my lips. I hadn't bothered to dry my hair. Sleepily, I scanned the room with one blurry eye. Boria. On a whim, my gaze settled on the pocket watch hanging on the easel in the corner of the room. I couldn't remember when or where I got it, but Rei put it on the easel after I found it lying around somewhere in my room. That was a few years back. The watch itself was stopped, but I didn't feel like winding it, so it was basically just there for decoration. Instead of the non-functioning pocket watch, I just looked up at the wall clock. It was just past 11:15 a.m. If I didn't hurry down to the first floor, Taku was gonna come raging up here any minute now. I got dressed and left the apartment without bothering to lock it behind me. Then I walked to the elevator and pressed the down button. There's nothing in that apartment worth stealing anyway. I mean, paints are kind of expensive, bro. Like, did the economy, like, make them cheap? Paints are expensive. Like, physical art supplies are expensive, bro. I rode the elevator down to the first floor, then headed to the waiting room. Sitting at the reception desk where I worked was an uptight guy by the name of Aremura Tsukasa. Oh, hey. You can tell he's an NPC because he's kind of like not that hot. Like, when he spotted me, he scowled, rose to his feet, and left the desk. The look on his face screamed, "You're late." Technically, I was supposed to be covering the reception desk, but Aremura must have come in to cover for me. This happened on occasion, and that occasion happened a lot. This happens a lot. Sorry, I've been watching Drag Race. An aura of faded blue swayed around Aremura. I called this colorful aura smoke because apparently only I could see. Okay, that's what I thought. I was just like, can he see like colors? I love it already. Each person had their own uniquely colored smoke, which shifted depending on their mental state. The most obvious change happened when someone was angry. The color would get muddy. I couldn't see my own smoke, however. No clue when I first started seeing it. From what I could remember, I used to think everyone could see it. Once I found out that wasn't the case, I stopped telling people about it. Was it some kind of superpower? Probably not. More than likely, it was proof that something was wrong with me, like a hallucination. Hence, I generally didn't give it much thought. I love it. I called out to Aremura in spite of his He does. Even under the mask. He was the most reliable nurse Murase Clinic had. Whenever his shift ended, hold on, I think I need to, I'm getting dry. Okay, he would go downtown to go drinking at a gay bar. Oh, he's one of us. Not us, like, as in, like, he's one of our people. You know, apparently I wasn't his type. Well, Towa, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. You're kind of scary. You're a little scary. Also, if you made this man cover for you like every day, I'm not surprised that you're not his type. He probably just hates you.
Towa-san. 遅れて悪かったって。
Oh, sorry.
それは今更なのでもういいです。
Why he kinda hot? Like his voice is like hot, but like his character model is like pedestrian. I'm sorry, Arimura. I know you're working hard. I'm sorry.
それより自分宛ての荷物はちゃんと持って行ってください。いつも置きっぱなしじゃないですか。
Ooh. What? He does not. Oh no. Listen, Taku. I don't know. Taku's a little too lenient. If that's the case. I got my eye on you, Taku.
放置するなら処分しますから。
I mean, that's kind of spicy. Like, you know, you could. All mail delivered to the clinic was taken to the staff room. Arimura was in charge of sorting it. Sometimes I would buy art supplies or books online. Other than that, I never got any packages. So if I received anything else in the mail, I just assumed it was junk and didn't bother collecting it. What if it's a bill? Oh gosh. Towa, I can't. His eyes narrowed even further, but I ignored him and stepped into the staff room. The reception desk and staff room were divided by a single curtain. I pushed past it and arrived at the reception desk interior. Arimura gave me a dirty look and walked off down the hall. From here on, I would spend the next few hours bored out of my skull. The clinic was quiet, peaceful, and utterly devoid of stimulus. I called the next patient up to pay their bill. Then I set their medical exam card, insurance card, itemized bill, and prescription up on the counter. Robotically, I processed the payment. Then, biting back another yawn, I called for the next patient to proceed to the exam room. Okay, so 2:01 a.m. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, okay, before I continue, I used to work for a dentist for a little bit. And Towa being like, I'm bored out of my mind. The dentist I worked for was always like, she was always overbooked. However, because I was like a receptionist though, I would often get calls, and then I would often, you know, have to be like, they'd be like, oh, can you fit me in? And I'm like, it's really full. You know, everybody would want to be on the weekends, but you don't want to overbook her on the weekends because then like she didn't want to work too late. So yeah, it's interesting. But also I will say that Taku working these very strange hours is interesting because in reality, doctors hours, it's like, personally, I have a doctor who goes on vacation a lot, which, you know, power to you, that's fine. But it's like, very often I get called and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I have to reschedule because he's gonna be on vacation. Like, you know, so it's kind of like interesting that Taku is like, oh, yeah, he's open like very long hours, even though he takes long lunches and opens quotation marks kind of late. But it's because he works till like really late. So I'm like, oh, well, that would make more sense. But usually people wouldn't make up for the time they have their lunch, you know, or whatever. It's like they just kind of do whatever. I even have like a dentist clinic that's not even open on weekends, and they only have half days on Wednesdays. So, you know, I am in America though, so they just don't like to keep medical clinics open very long, apparently, especially after you know, post-pandemic, you know, so post-panorama. Okay, anyway, that's your nerd fact for today from me. So today my shift ended in the afternoon, so I headed back to my apartment. I lounged lazily on the sofa for a while. Then after the clinic closed, I headed back downstairs. No real reason. I was just bored out of my apartment. Oh, bored of my apartment, excuse me. Hi, Taku. As I sat slumped on a bench in the empty waiting room, Taku walked out from the hallway, his orange smoke hanging over Why do I keep saying smoke? Smoke! His orange smoke hanging over him. Sweat. You heard nothing. Stretching his arms up, he turned his head from side to side, cracking his neck so loudly I half wondered if he broke something. Yes, Towa. Otsukare. I didn't mean a word of it though. He snorted at me. Yeah, exactly. I was like, what are you saying?
寝坊常習犯に言われたくないな。
Chronic overs.
ちゃんと働いただろ。
そう言いたければ朝はちゃんと起きろよ。俺。
I'll look him up later. He's like really familiar. If you want me to believe that, then try waking up on time. Here. He pulled something out of his coat pocket and tossed it at me. I caught it and looked down. It was a can of coffee.
入れてくれないのか?
Tomo, what made you think that Taku was gonna get you fresh coffee at 2 a.m.? Are you out of your mind? I love how I switched up so fast. I'm just like, I don't know about that, Taku. And now I'm just like, Towa. Come on.
お前なんか缶コーヒーで十分だ。
Exactly. You tell him how it is, Taku. That being said, he was still treating me to a free drink as a token of his appreciation. Taku bought canned coffee in bulk and kept the staff room fridge stocked at all times for this exact reason. Sometimes, when he was feeling up to it, he'd make fresh coffee instead, but for the most part, he took the faster, easier option. Slow damage.
備品の発注と掃除終わりました。
Ooh. Next bestie. Right as I cracked open the can, the exam room door opened and a bubbly voice rang out. Sorry. It was Izumi Rei, one of the other part-timers. His main job was at a bar called Roost, but since they didn't open till 5 p.m., he would often pick up shifts at the clinic to fill the time. Evidently, he wasn't working at Roost tonight, since he was still here this late. Our clinic employed 2 nurses, 4 part-timers, and 1 doctor.
お、ありがとな。
Where's his part-time? Like, what are you doing? Sorry. So, yeah. So at the dentist clinic, it was me, the receptionist, 2 dental assistants, and then the dentist. She was the only dentist. And then at one point, the other receptionist came back, and so at one point we were kind of like duolingoing, you know. So I'm just like, that's a lot of part-timers. Like 4 part-timers, 2 nurses, 1 doctor. Yeah, that's a lot of part-timers. Yeah. Towa doesn't like. I don't really count Towa because he's kind of like whatever. He's just kind of like, I just show up. So. Smiling, Taku looked over at Rei and raised a hand in acknowledgement.
全然いいのよ。気にしないで。
He's cute. Towa. He's just like, yeah, whatever. But as soon as Rei laid eyes on me, he stormed right over to me.
ちょっと。
Oh.
あんた今日も寝坊したでしょ。有村君に仕事を押し付けて。
Okay, calm down.
少しだけだろ。
開き直らないの。寝坊は寝坊よ。
I mean, he's not denying it. He's just saying, like, you know. He put his hands on his hips and scolded me like he was my mom. You know who he makes me think of, actually? He makes me think of Junta from from Dakaichi. They have like kind of like a similar like build, and they kind of have like a similar like talking voice. So, and very Genki-esque, you know. But his smoke was bright yellow, and since it wasn't swaying, I could tell he wasn't really that angry. Born to a Japanese father and an One moment. I need a moment to gather myself. So I see he's the half Japanese, half white guy. He could have just been just Japanese. It would have been fine. It's okay though, I understand. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I guess it's, you know, like, born to a Japanese father and an English mother, he had a well-sculpted face. Yeah, it's so that they could say, you know, he has like a really nice face or something, but I was just like, I don't know, okay. Because of this, he was wildly popular with our patients, particularly women. Yeah, because he's hot.
もうあんまり迷惑かけないようにしてよね。有村くん、とっても真面目に働いてくれてるんだから。
Is Ray just flirting with us?
そうだそうだ。もっと言ってやれ。
Calm down, Taku. Okay. Taku leaned back against the reception counter and cracked open his can with a smirk. Believe it or not, he was pretty well liked too. Hiding beneath that stubble and post-work fatigue was a manly, rough-hewn face. I mean, he's kind of hot. I was like, if I'm gonna be real, yeah, he's quite attractive, you know, especially as a doctor, you know. Plus, the patients all praised his warm bedside manner. To them, his messy hair and stubble was rugged rather than lazy. Weird how this somehow never applied to me. Towa. So I need to tell you something. You literally have scars all over your body, and last I checked, like, societally, you know, it's not right, in my opinion. Societally, that's not really attractive because people think you're like a thug. First of all. Second of all, apparently you come downstairs like smelling like alcohol and cigarettes and dudes. So like I mean I think that's why it doesn't apply to you, you know. I know you're spicy, but you're a little too spicy, you know what I'm saying? You're a little too dangerous for these normal people, okay? That's why they're like.
で、そういや有村君は帰ったか?
Arimura-kun's going to the bar. He's busy. he's got a lot going on. He needs to take a break.
そうか。今日はいつもより長く入ってくれて助かったよ、レイ。ありがとな。
I love this
どう
pink.
いたしまして。俺は
This
スイ
pink
ーツで
shading.
もいいのよ。
The pink highlights. It adds to the prettiness of the game, you know.
ファミレスのパフェでいいか?
Ooh, what about me?
Okay.
I want a parfait. What about me? Forget Towa. I'm talking about me. Like, we don't have to bring Towa. As I watched the conversation from the sidelines, my gaze drifted to Taku.
疲れてるな。
ん?
疲れてる。顔が。
おう。
Grimacing, he touched his cheek and sighed. Granted, he always looked tired, but lately it was more noticeable than ever.
何? 疲れてるの? 寝不足?
He is a doctor.
それもあるが、気疲れだ。
気疲れ?
Mentally? Whoa, what's going on? Give me the tea. Give me the tea. He let out an even bigger
うち
sigh.
の患者さん、夜の仕事についてる人も多いだろ?
Oh boy.
そうね。昼間はお年寄りや子連れの人もいるけど、深夜になると男女関係なく夜の仕事の人が増えるわね。
ま、その中には事情があって働いてるって人も結構いてな。診察中に悩みを相談されることもあるわけだ。
He's not a psychiatrist though. He's a doctor.
悩みって、ああ、メンタル面でってことか。
そうだ、家庭の事情だったり、友人や知人には簡単に話せないような重い話だったりな。
Taku's growing on me. I can't lie.
心の方は専門外だから治療できんが、相談があった時はできる限り話を聞くようにはしてる。無下にするわけにもいかないし、それで患者さんの心が少しでも軽くなるならいいだろう。
Good doctor, good doctor.
そうね。
Too good doctor.
ねえ、 悩み相談ってのは前からちょくちょくあったんだが。
Oh man,
どう
yeah.
も最近そういう患者さんが多くてな。
Well, I mean, even if they want like a therapist, there's probably not many in this area. Reality.
多い？増えたってこと？
うん、少し前までは1週間に1人2人くらいだったんだが、明らかに増えてる。それに
He seemed to remember something. He stopped short and looked away.
切羽詰まった患者さんが増えた気がするんだ。話をしているうちに泣き出したり、いきなり声を荒げたりとかな。
たまに診察室から怒鳴り声が聞こえてくるけど、あれってそういうことだったんだ。
Screaming though? Like...
できることならメンタルケアもしてやりたいとは思うんだが、そうもいかないからな。ただ、感情が高ぶってる状態の患者をないがしろにするわけにはいかんだろう。
そうね。最近診察時間がやけに長い患者さんがいるなぁとは思ってたけど、
どう対応したらいいものかってずっと考えてるんだが。
Well, hold on a sec. I was like, I thought this was a dating sim game. Suddenly it's a mental health simulator instead. Oh boy. Rubbing the back of his hand, Taku let out his third sigh of the night. But really, was it any wonder that more and more of his patients were starting to have mental health problems? Over the past decade, Japan's younger generation has been plunged into extreme poverty. A few years ago, you'd see people on TV yelling about 20 to 30 age demographics' inability to save money or find a stable career, but now it was even worse. These days, you saw women curled up in their underwear on the sidewalk while men started fights amongst strangers. Young teenagers would dress in slutty clothes to work the corners. Compared to 10 years ago, there were a lot more murder cases, and many of them were either unsolved or dropped. The cops were useless too. They couldn't. That was no. You heard nothing. They couldn't keep up with the growing number of criminals. But of course, here under the Takasato Gumi's thumb, the Shinkoumi police force was basically just there for decoration. The gig economy had become commonplace, so jobs were scarce, the cost of living was high, and wages were all at an all-time low. These things all helped drive people to rock bottom, where they had no choice but to keep living. The nation of Japan was seeing povertization on a level that a few oops. You read it. We'll read it back later. Shinkoumi had a disproportionately large number of hospitals, possibly in correlation to the crime levels. Naturally, there were plenty of unlicensed or back alley doctors to be found here. These days, hospitals probably had to serve as battered women's shelters on top of everything else. Like Taku said, Dr.
つまり心を病んでるやつが多いってことだろ。
Towa, you can't say that. You can't say that word. Taku and Rei both turned to look at me.
俺は好かんな。
別に間違ってない。
Calm down, Towa. I downed my coffee, set the empty can on the floor, and rose to my feet.
どこ行くの？
散歩。
ちょっと。
Oh, Rei. Oh, my poor child. But I ignored Rei's frustrated retort, walked to the front door, and left the building. Exhaling white fog into the cold air, I reached into the back pocket of my pants and pulled out my cigarettes. I had forgotten to grab a coat, but I was too lazy to go back and get one, so I figured I'd be fine. As I walked down the dirty sidewalk, I put a cigarette between my lips and lit it. In Shinkoumi, the nights were long. If anything, it had only just begun. Like usual, I stumbled around town on a whim, looking for a one-night stand. Calm down. Chill? Chill for a second. Not because I was especially lonely or sought another human's warmth or anything like that. I felt no love, no passion, no desire. All of my emotions had rusted over. Sex was just the only way. Oops! Ah! Sorry, I accidentally clicked right. Was the only way I could feel anything at all. Let's see. Well, not the only way. The other way was through violence. Fistfights. But what I wanted was an all-out brawl. Enough to kill me. Ooh. And I knew there were very few people in this world capable of that. Most people I fought had held back, even just subconsciously, afraid to hurt me beyond a certain threshold. Thus, there was no point in looking for someone special. Generally speaking, I felt very little in the way of standard human emotions. No idea when it started, but I probably wasn't born like this. Sometimes I got irritated when people nagged me too much, but for the most part, I held it in. Other people seemed to see me as an unfeeling monster, but in the rare moments that I was overcome with powerful impulses, that was when I truly felt joy. And while many were too scared to enact violence directly, there were plenty in this town that loved to hurt people on the inside. Okay, so Towa's got a lot going on. Towa's got a lot. So, oh no. Towa's got a lot going on. I can see why Taku just lets him kind of like live there, even though he's kind of like, you know, not really into it, but you know. So yeah, I had a lot of hookups. If you asked me if I liked sex, I would say yes. But I wasn't interested in learning about the person attached to, nor did I feel like telling them about me. I just wanted them to use me, then throw me away. That was the compromise I was willing to make. Interesting. Interesting. The next day, I didn't work at the clinic, so I slept in until noon. I woke lying on my back on the sofa. I sat up, lit a cigarette, and took a drag. In the end, I never did find a hookup last night. Instead, I picked a random bar, had some drinks, and went home. All in all, it was a pretty tame night, considering the previous night where I drank until I blacked out. Because of that, it felt lackluster. I took my time enjoying my cigarette, gazing at the TV that had been left on all night. Then suddenly, a news chyron flashed up on screen. Takasato Gumi leader Takasato Ryujiro, 81, dead of heart failure. My eye was locked on the white text. Oh wait, he only has one eye? I didn't realize. The leader of the Takasato Gumi was dead. But then, the surprise faded. For the record, I had been informed that this man was my biological father! I don't know why that shocked me. I should have seen that coming. My mother was his mistress. In other words, I was his illegitimate son. That said, I had next to no memory of being around him. Frankly, I can only vaguely remember what he looked like. So I didn't have much of an emotional response to the news of his passing. Just sort of, oh, he died. He died. Sorry. You'll know that joke if you watched me previously. I looked away from the TV and leaned back against the sofa. Beep, beep. Just then, I heard a muffled buzzing noise and realized the cell phone on the far edge of the sofa was ringing. I picked it up and looked at the screen. Sakaki was calling. I'd also see a series of notifs that was indicated he'd been calling for a while. He probably wanted to talk about my father, and if so, I wasn't interested. I dropped the phone back on the sofa without answering it, cigarette dangling from my lips. I stared up at the ceiling. I had no real plans for today. Maybe I'd wander around downtown. With that thought, I took a long, deep drag. Exhaling smoke, I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray. Then, I rose to my feet and pulled on my coat. Now then, where to? Ooh, tutorial time! What is this, Danganronpa? Pardon! Sorry. Oh, I'm terrible. Okay. Pardon the interruption. We will now briefly explain the exploration segments. Please bear with us for just a few moments. When an objective pops up on screen, you know it's time for exploration. This time, the objective is go somewhere. During exploration, you're free to prowl the city of Shinkoumi. You can go places, talk to people, and learn about the city. When you arrive at the correct destination, exploration will conclude and the story will progress. You can progress the story immediately, if you so desire. Or, you can explore the city first, before you continue. You're free to play however you see fit. Check your objective, move the cursor to the right-hand edge of the screen. In this case, the objective is go somewhere. So let's move this party somewhere else. Okay. So where shall I go? Where shall I go? Ooh, move, talk. Let's move. Ooh. 3rd floor of the Murase Clinic, aka the place where I sleep. It's as messy as a storage closet because it practically is one. Can we go anywhere else? Oh, here. I was just like, click, click. Oh, me dum. Okay. Murase Clinic. The clinic Taku runs attracts a wide variety of local patients, young and old, plus night shift workers. A vast swath of high-rise condo buildings encircling District E. The majority of Shinkoumi residents live in this one. In one of these pencil towers. I have no business here. Okay. The main street occupying the center of District E. Here you'll find convenience stores, drugstores, diners, and places to buy various other sundries. Let's walk them out. Yeah, let's walk them out here. Because I feel like I'm very like, if we can meet the other guys as fast as possible, that's a good sign, you know? This is Murase Clinic. Taku started it up 7 years ago. For a small privately run facility, it has a good reputation that draws in patients not only from the neighborhood, but the downtown area as well. The doors open a bit later than most at 10 a.m., but in exchange it stays open until 1 a.m., which is helpful for patients that work the night shift. In general, Shinkoumi has a lot of hospitals. Most of them are either single rooms or large-scale facilities. So in that sense, a standalone building like Murase Clinic is apparently rather unusual. Just then, I sensed someone's gaze and looked over. I thought I saw something slip into the shadow of a building. Or was my mind playing tricks on me? Oh? Shady green-haired man. I'll agree to that. I'll absolutely agree to that. Eh? It's the Spider-Man meme that poor. If you encounter someone during exploration, try talking to them. Oh yes, absolutely. Talk to every stranger, baby. Everything we were taught was a lie. Okay. Talking to them may give you inspiration. Let's try it out. Okay, let's see. Talk, move, talk, Yeah, let's talk.
Oh.
It's you. You're Towa, right? How do you know my name? Give a positive response to agree or a negative. Okay. When you slow down, yes, indeed. This is a simplified version of interrogation, wherein you'll respond with negative or positive answers. For a refresher on interrogation, check on the interrogation section of How to Play. On the right-hand edge of the screen, Euphoria Up, you can see it says Euphoria Up. Unlike real interrogation segments, exploration chats show the results of negative and positive answers in advance. Okay. Euphoria up means it will raise the euphoria gauge. Euphoria down means it will lower the euphoria gauge. What should I do? Now, see the what should I do text at the bottom of the screen. If you choose to respond accordingly, you'll gain new inspiration. Some targets don't care which way you respond. Gaining inspiration is never guaranteed, so feel free to explore every inch of the city. Now let's try it out. Yeah, let's go. So what if I am? so what if I am? You're Towa. Right, and the reason I know is... I know is because he knows, right? Oh, right. He who? I'm going to surpass him. Or my name isn't Inada. Oh gosh. There's no inspiration to be gained this time around. Some exploration segments offer it while others don't. You'll be able to tell the difference based on the objective. Red text means it's a special segment where no inspiration is available. But the blue text means inspiration is out there, just waiting to be found. But you'll see blue text most often. Red text is less common. But because this is a tutorial, it counts as a special exploration. This concludes the exploration tutorial. Now you can go back to enjoying slow damage. Okay. So there's nothing left to really... It says there's nothing really left. So we can move. Okay. Should I go here anyway? Because I feel like being antagonistic towards Towa for a moment. Just for a moment. Okay. This is District E's residential area. If you live in Shinkoumi, chances are your apartment is in District E. District E is full of skyscrapers, all of them high-rise condo buildings. It's an attempt to make the most living space out of critically limited land area. The downtrot of all the skyscrapers creates strong winds in the area. Not to mention, the majority of these buildings aren't up to code, so if you get hit with a major earthquake, they'll probably collapse. Ouch! But the residents of District E choose to live here anyway. Someone concerned with safety wouldn't dare live in Shinkoumi in the first place. Exactly. Okay, let's see. This is District E's residential area. Okay. So there's nothing here right now. Let's go... No, let's go back to the shopping district then. This is the main street at the center of District E. For the most part, residents of District E pass through here to do their shopping. With all the diners, convenience stores, discount stores, and drugstores packed in like sardines, it's easy to find what you need. The streets are busy, though not as packed as District D. Everywhere you look, there's people working or people getting wasted. The traffic light changed and the crowd started walking, but just then, I spotted a familiar face out of the corner of my eye. It was Rei. Of course it was Rei. It was Rei carrying a paper bag in one hand.
Ara.
Oh, you need to calm down. Hi, Towa. What are you doing here?
Yo.
Just wandering. You? On my way back from Tajima's. She gave me a bunch of stuff, so I thought I'd share some with Taku. Hold on, is Rei supposed to be like... Rei's supposed to be like interested in us, as in like Towa. So he keeps being like, I was gonna share with Taku, and I'm like, are you at all interested? Or are you like interested in Taku? Like, I mean, which is fine. It's just, you know, I was put under the impression they're supposed to be my bachelor choice. Okay, not a Taku bachelor choice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little salty, you know, on behalf of Towa. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Oh, why am I so bitter? It was a thank you gift for helping her. Let's keep talking.
Ne.
Oh, that reminds me. I left a croquet in the fridge for you. Did you eat it? Oh, okay. Euphoria. Okay. I ate a little.
Positive.
Because usually he said he doesn't really like food. A little?
Eh?
For real? Just a bite.
Yatta.
Still, that's a big step for you. Oh my gosh. What is Rei doing in this game? He's too nice. I wonder if the other guys are nice too, because like Taku is nice, and so the other two might be nice too to an extent, you know. I added condensed milk when I was making them. It's supposed to improve the consistency. Condensed milk? In croquettes? It sounds crazy, but it works. You tasted it yourself, right? Well, yeah. Next time, I think I might try rice croquettes.
戻らなくちゃ。
Anyway, I'm heading back to the clinic. Rice croquette. Oh, like in place of the potato. I mean, I guess I don't know. I was just imagining it, you know. All right. Kid, is the talk finished? I got some pickled veggies for us. Okay, we can move now because nothing's happening here. That's all we got. Residential. If we go that, well, we run into a person if we go here. Nah, yeah. Okay, so then we go to, where haven't I gone? Murase Clinic? We were kind of like forced to come out here because I clicked the other one. Murase Clinic, a familiar sight. Okay, so then the last one is Towa. Oh, Towa's Altalier. Okay. I returned to my apartment. When I left, the TV was on, but now the familiar static drone was gone. Instead, I could hear a faint rustling sound.
Oh, Towa.
Oh, I got scared for a second. I was like, who's in his room? Welcome home. I was just tidying up in here. If I put it off for too long, the whole place turns into a pigsty. Alright.
No.
Seeing as you're here, why don't you help me out a bit? Ooh. Let's keep it up.
Positive.
Let's keep it up. Let's keep it up.
わかった。
Not like that, you nasties. It's not often you actually do as you're told. Sometimes I feel like it. Alright then, thanks in advance. Oh, he's happy.
Yoshi.
There, now it's a bit cleaner. Here's your reward for helping. He pulled a pack of green gum from his pocket. Mint flavor, apparently. Got it from a patient. And since you still smoke, you probably need it more than I do, yeah?
別に。
I prefer the taste of tobacco. I can't. Aw, don't be like that. Just take it. He pressed it into my hand, and I reluctantly accepted it. Of course, I gave it about a week before you turned this place into a mess again. If you could make it every 2 weeks instead, I'd appreciate it.
それじゃあな。
Anyway, I'm out of here. Alright. Okay, where? One more? Okay. Okay, where else do I go? Ooh, that's a new place. That's a new place. Yeah, I don't have any business there anymore. Okay. Tajima's! An old snack shop clinging to life among the newer buildings, run by an old woman who's lived here since before Shinkoumi went. Attracts customers from all walks of life. Okay, Let's go! Oh, is that, hold on. Back, move. Okay, yeah. Oh wait, hold on a second. No. Why are these different colors? Oh, I'm here. La la la. Is there? Let me see. Why is that not green? Okay, I see. Okay, then yeah, we can end the exploration. Let's go! Just want to make sure. 3:56 p.m. baby. Alright. Alright, give me just a moment. On one corner of the residential neighborhood sat a little old shop forgotten by time. It was a sack store called Tajima's, run for many years by a little old octogenarian lady. I don't know that word. In most cases, the expanding casino industry forced evictions on older homes and stores. But Tajima's fought eviction every step of the way, and now was the last of its kind in the area. Fortunately, Tajima's was popular with middle-aged folks looking for a nostalgic taste of their youth. Plus, it attracted younger people curious about traditional snacks. Every now and then, I'd stop by and grab some. I wasn't a big fan of junk food or anything, but for some reason the shop felt like home. I walked up, stood at the door, and peered inside. The cramped interior was packed to the gills with sweets and snacks of every kind. Hidden among them was a white-haired, stony-faced woman standing as still as a statue. I love her already. She sounded irritable. Reluctantly, I stepped inside. She looks like she gonna beat me up. I love it. But though she may have looked angry, she was always like that. Hanging on the wall above the clutter was a painting with a layer of black over it. I kept wondering about it every time I came by. It was the one thing that didn't feel homey, like the rest of the store. Maybe the owner just liked spooky stuff. Calm down. She snapped at me as I stood there without browsing. Her smoke was deep, dark brown. Oh. Is that deep dark? That's kind of light. But I guess it's smoke. Not once had I ever seen it waver. I grabbed some stuff at random and brought it to the counter.
この町は日に日に変わっていってるよ。いつか本当に滅びてなくなっちまうんじゃないかとヒヤヒヤしてるんだよ、私は。
I mean, I feel like it already has, but you know. She muttered to herself as she pecked away on her antique cash register. This old woman was one of few who had lived here since before Shinkoumi became a casino resort, and she knew what it used to be like. She would always blather on and on regardless of whether anyone was listening, but some people found value in her stories of the old days.
昔はここまで汚らしい町じゃなかったのにね。それこそ純朴そうな小娘の面倒を見てやったりもしたの。
Oh gosh.
今は男も女も
boy.
アバズレで溢れ返ってる。あんただってその一人なんだよ。分かってんのか。
Calm down. Calm down. I'm just here for snacks. Yeah. Towa was just like, yeah. I nodded absently. Truth be told, I liked her. It felt like she was the only person still living in the old times, while the whole world changed around her. Because of that, she was an outsider here.
毎日誰が殺した殺されたか死体を見ても何とも思わなくなっちまってるんだ。ヤクザの言うこと聞くくらいなら私はこの店を守って死ぬよ。
She said, Yakuza who? Not me. She said, come at me. I pulled a 1,000 yen bill out of my pants pocket and handed it to her. Keep the change.
いいのかい?
She's like,
毎度どうも。
she She literally called him a hoe, and he's like, she's fine. Love that. She took the money without complaint. He handed me my items without a bag, and for the first time, I stopped to look at what I had bought. Then I stuffed it all into my coat pockets and headed for the door. As I stepped outside, however, I realized the old lady had followed me out. Oh, she muttered under her breath with a scowl. I waved, then turned and set off down the street. That still makes me laugh so hard. She's like, you're a hoe too, aren't you? And he's just like, yeah, it's fine. Late that night, Taku, Rei, and I paid a visit to the local diner. Taku had promised to buy Rei a parfait, and tonight it was time for him to pony up. I want a parfait too! maybe when I get paid. A parfait sounds really good right now. That said, the three of us usually ended up at this diner anyway, since it was still open when the clinic closed. I was downtown at the time, so they invited me over the phone. When we sat down at our table, Taku ordered the Salisbury steak special. Rei got the steak fried rice and a parfait, and I got a coffee. While they ate their food, I slowly slipped my drink. This was pretty commonplace for me, and yet every time it happened, like clockwork, Rei would tell me how it's not healthy and it's going to kill you one of these days. Sure enough, I could hear him grumbling about something, but the moment they put his parfait down on the table, his whole face lit up.
もうここのストロベリーミルクパフェ本当に美味しい。
He is so sweet. Okay. Towa looks like he's from like a different genre. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, because Rei and Taku, they look like they're from just like a semi-edgy BL, and Towa looks like he belongs in Togainu no Chi. Oh goodness. Because also so far, Taku and Rei have like very starkly different personalities in comparison to Towa, and so I don't know what the other characters are like. I think there's two, right? Other two characters are like, so I hope they kind of like complement these two, because right now Towa is like the odd one out, even though he's the main character. which is an interesting way to take the beginning of a dating sim game. Let's see.
毎度毎度そんなに喜んでもらえたら作った人も作りがいがあるってもんだな。
Oh, looks so good. Taku sipped his post-dinner coffee with a wry grin. He wasn't a big fan of sugary stuff, so he couldn't really relate.
毎度毎度喜ぶからもっとたくさん美味しいスイーツ作ってって感じ。
Oh, he's so sweet. Rei stirred his parfait with his spoon, a dreamy smile on his face. This only lasted until I put a cigarette between my lips and started to light.
ちょっとまだ食べてるんですけど。うんじゃないわよ。
喫煙席だろ、ここ。
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, well, if you're in the smoking section, you can't really tell them to not smoke, though, Rei.
マナーってものがあるでしょ。タクだってもうやめたんだし、あんたもいい加減やめなさいよね。
Okay, calm down, Rei.
吸ってた俺が言うのもなんだが、タバコは100害あって一理なしだぞ。
These are not convincing arguments. Like, they don't know how to convince Towa at all. Like, you know. I think it's funny. I ignored their complaints, lit my cigarette, and took a drag. Instantly, Rei's smoke went from yellow to red, mingling with the cigarette smoke.
本当にもう、トワは酒とタバコばっかり。あんなにいい絵を描くのに、実体なんてこんなもんね。
Calm down, Rei. You don't need to go there. Rei let out an exaggerated sigh. Sulking, he put his elbow on the table and his chin in hand.
歴史上の有名な画家も変人が多いからな。ある中から異常な女好きまで
Taku's just like, listen, you know, this is just how it is.
どこかしら変わってるから 芸術面では突出してるってこともあるんだろう。
I do agree with that. You know, my beloved former dance teacher once told me that if any of us decided to go to a non-art school where they had, you know, normal people majors, she said, make friends specifically who aren't artists, because it is important that you not basically drive yourself to madness, because artists are a little whoopty, you know. After all, I'm an artist, you know. Yeah, no, artists, it's just because like the way artists function on a very molecular level is to put it simply, we're just a little whoopty, as I've said, you know. So anyway,
なのかしらね。でもそばにいたらすごい嫌よ。迷惑よ。今身をもって体感してるわ。
Ray is like too normal. He's just like, I don't know. He's just man.
トワに関してはもう諦めろ。昔からこういうやつだ。
Thanks, Taku. At least Taku got my back. You know what I'm saying? It was the harsh truth.
その割には可愛い趣味があるのよね。
You say. A devilish grin crept up on Ray's face. Is he gonna tickle me?
部屋にずっと置いてあるウサギのぬいぐるみを興味ないとか言うくせに捨てないじゃない？実は好きなんでしょ。
He kind of got you there. He kind of got you there. No. Oh, yes. It's right there. I did have a bunny plushie in my apartment, but I wasn't particularly attached to it. I just randomly spotted it at a store one time and wanted to buy it, so I did. I hadn't really touched it or thought about it since, and now it's sat collecting dust in the corner.
夜はこっそり抱いて寝てたりするんじゃないのか？
Why they tested me?
やだ、とあったらそんな可愛いところあるの？
Ray, I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down for a second. There is no gap moe here. Towa is highly mentally ill. Like, this is literally what it is. As Taku teased me, Ray joined in. Ignoring the idiocy, I turned away and took another slow drag of my cigarette.
そういえば、今日はデスマッチには行かないのか？
Oh? Deathmatch area. My five eyes are open.
今日はお休み。チームメンバーの都合もあるからね。
Ooh.
そうか。
Teammates. What's this place? What's this place? Give me the tea. Give me the tea. Give me the tea. The deathmatch area was a special section of town located in District A at the center of Shinkoumi. Are you sure we're not in the Hunger Games? I just realized. I was just like, there's like District A, but it's not numbers. It's letters. So it was once ground zero for a lot of Takasatogumi. Gosh, you guys are gonna make fun of me so much. As a result, the whole district was torn apart, and residents were barred entry. Naturally, this attracted a lot of seedy types. Eventually, it became known as a place for fistfights, and people started using it as a battlefield to test their strength. Nowadays, anyone who wanted to fight could meet up in District A to take part in what was now referred to as a deathmatch. Of course, the Takasatogumi had noticed this, but they chose not to interfere. Here in Shinkoumi, plenty of people were frustrated with the tyranny of the Takasatogumi, not to mention the struggles of living in poverty. So the Takasatogumi let them have their death matches in District A if it meant they could vent their stress. Their one restriction, they would hassle anyone who tried to live there or start a business there. Other than that, the Takasatogumi didn't get involved. Believe it or not, taking part in death matches was something of a hobby for Rei. He always went with his buddies from Roost. Oh, I see. I was gonna be like, Rei's like a little too normal. Like, there's gotta be something wrong with him. Supposedly, they were actually among the top contenders, but death matches weren't my thing. so I didn't know if that was true. Judging from their looks, you wouldn't think they were seasoned fighters, except for the rare occasions they turned up sporting cuts and bruises.
楽しんでやってるなら構わんが、あんまり羽目を外すなよ。
Don't get too
最近
crazy.
じゃデスマッチも昔より悪質な奴らがうろついてるらしいじゃないか。
I mean, it is called Deathmatch area.
まあね。でも、そういう奴らもまとめて吹っ飛ばすのが楽しいのよ。
That's my
スカ
man.
ッとするわ。
It's super fun though. To beat a homie up.
そうか。ま、しばらくは高里組も荒れるだろうから、お前たちも気をつけろよ。
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, because homie just died. So yeah. Yeah.
上の連中はともかく、チンピラどもがトラブルを起こすかもしれん。
そうなったら、拳で鎮圧しちゃうから大丈夫。
Hey, he must be good. I can't lie. He must be good. To prove his point, Rei flashed up his fists. Taku grinned wryly.
拳を振るうのはデスマッチだけにしとけよ。
もちろん。パフェおごってもらったし、言うこと聞きます。
Parfait looks so
美味しかった。ありがとう。大満足。
good. Whatever you tell me, TBH. I hope he said it like that in the Japanese. Like, it doesn't sound like it, but if that's the equivalent of what he said in Japanese, that's funny. I hope it was like that. In a blink, Rei had polished off his parfait. He set down his spoon with a satisfied smile.
それじゃ、明日もあるし帰るか。
Well, we've got work tomorrow. Let's call it a night.
そうね。また明日。とは、ちゃんと寝なさいよ。このまま飲みに行ったり、男を引っ掛けに行ったりしちゃダメだからね。
No bar hopping, no hook. Oh, so you know that Towa's a hoe. Oh, goodness. Pain. With a non-committal response, I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray. Taku rose to his feet, grabbed the check, and took it over to the register.
ごちそうさま。
Right as Rei got up, he suddenly turned back to me.
あら、そういえばあんたもおごりなの？
Rei? Of course he's paying for me. Ugh, why is that so weird? Absolutely he's paying for me, you know what I'm saying? Ugh. Gotta stretch for a second. Okay.
コーヒーしか飲んでないからな。
Oh, yeah, see, he only ordered coffee. Whenever we went out to eat, Taku would always pay for my order, probably because it was only one extra drink. Rei donned a melodramatic frown and glanced at me out the corner of his eye.
なんかあんたって周りから妙に甘やかされてるわよね。フラフラしてて危なっかしいからかしら。
Rei, I don't know what you
野良
want.
猫みたいな感じ？
I don't know the emotions you're trying to like explain, you know what I'm saying?
さあな。
I shrugged and together we headed for the exit. Slow damage. Sailor Moon. All right, 1:23 p.m. the next day. I wasn't scheduled to work at the clinic, so I woke up around noon. Taku came up to my room on his break and invited me out to lunch. Rei wasn't scheduled to work until later in the afternoon, so he wasn't around yet. I got dressed, then accompanied Taku out of the building. Spicy.
お待たせしました。
Thank you for waiting. The manager set down 2 mugs of coffee, followed by 2 plates of their famous honey toast. Once everything we ordered was on the table, he bowed quietly and headed back into the kitchen. In these parts, Yanagawa Cafe was a popular lunch spot. The place first opened over 20 years ago, and the building's retro, read outdated, style offered its own special day. It was about a 5-minute walk from Murase Clinic, so I often found myself here. It all started when I was walking by one day and saw the dimly lit interior through the front windows. It caught my interest, so I went in, and the rest is history. The cafe always played jazz music over the speakers, and the customers were relaxed. Their prices were relatively high, but seeing as they were still in business, they clearly had enough regular customers to keep them afloat. The cafe's biggest selling points? Freshly ground coffee and honey toast. Even Taku liked their toast when he was notoriously uninterested in sweets. It's a good thing I ate. Oh boy. Oh man, that looks so good. He pressed his hands together to say grace, then picked up his knife and fork and started cutting up his toast. I crushed my lit cigarette in the ashtray and took a sip of my coffee.
ここのは本当にうまいよな。
甘いの苦手でもこの店のは平気なんだろ。
It's true, it's true. He's right, he's right.
蜂蜜の自然な甘さとパンの焼き加減がガキの頃によく食べたパンケーキに似ててな。ってお前こそ普段はほとんど食べないくせにここのハニートースト食べるよな。
You have preferences. I just don't like food.
なんとなく。
Maybe it's a comfort food.
なんだそりゃ。
Oh, so okay, so Taku. Then I guess Taku is considered the childhood friend guy. In nitro+chiral games, there's always like a childhood friend. And in this game, it seems like it's sort of Taku. Because there's not really a childhood friend, because Towa seems to be very unattached, if you know what I mean. Laughing, Taku slid a fork of toast into his mouth. In a blink, he had somehow already eaten half of the... Excuse me. He had already eaten half of the damn thing. Only then did I finally pick up my own knife and fork and start eating.
でさ、もうすっごいやつがいたらしくてさ。
Is that? Sorry. For a moment, he looked like one of the twins from Dramatic Murder. Oh boy. Okay, there was this Yeah, what kind of crazy? What you talking about? As we were busy eating, the conversation from the next table to us carried over, filling the silence.
すごいっつったらすごいんだよ。強いんだって。すごい強かったらしいんだよ。
Ridiculously OP.
そりゃ、高里組ってデスマッチの参加者で強いやつを引っ張ってきてるんでしょ。強くて当然だろ。
I see. For a fraction of a second, Taku fell still.
いや、もっとだよ。もっと強えの。
Are they?
真顔で何人も殴って沈めてくくらいの、そういうマジでヤバいやつだったらしくて、どうも組を裏切ったらしいんだよ。
Oh my.
マジで
For real?
そう。
For real? For real?
ね、兄貴を殺して逃げたって。
He killed his brother? Or like Aniki as in like gang, like section leader. Like, you know, his actual bro or like gang leader bro?
兄ちゃんってこと？
ちげえよ。あれだよ、ほら、杯がうんたらかんたらってそういう兄貴。
Exactly. I was just like his boss or his actual bro?
そういう兄貴。でもさ、それってすごい不義理ってやつじゃね？やばいんじゃねえの？
I can tell. You know, this game has been like, oh, the younger gens are having a really difficult time in this city, you know, because of the economic collapse and decline. And I can tell because these host guys are like, what's that? What's that mean? I'm like, what do you mean, what's that mean? That's like a normal word. Right? You know? Oh, that's a normal word, man. Anyway.
やばいよ。だから組の奴らに制裁されて、もうこの世にいないって話だけどな。
制裁。おっかね。高里組なら人の一人や二人くらい簡単に消せるだろうしな。
It's true, they are, you know, they are a gang, so. Oh, poor Taku. Taku finished eating his honey toast in silence, but his expression looked stiff. Probably due to the subject matter. In this town, you couldn't walk 2 steps without hearing someone gossiping about the Takasato Gumi. Some of it was true, A lot of it wasn't. Like a game of telephone, a lot of details got lost along the way, so only a small fraction knew the facts. The guys next to us were just recounting stuff they'd heard from elsewhere. Almost every rumor was tarnished with embellishments born of speculation or assumption, and this one was no different. It wasn't easy to discover the unvarnished truth buried beneath. For example, I would never know the real Taku, and he would never know the real me. Just because we'd known each other for years didn't mean we understood everything about each other. Then the subject changed to something else, and a few minutes later, the two guys left to pay their bill. Once they were gone, Taku broke his bitter silence. Taku. They run the city. What do you mean? Those Yakuza are popular. Yes, Taku. Of course they're popular. If billionaires are popular, you know, we gossip about them all the time. I ate my cold toast without responding. As it happened, I knew the guy they were gossiping about. A lot about him, in fact. Believe it or not, that fight happened while I was still in the gang. Who is it? Who is it? But I didn't want to remember him, so I actively avoided thinking about his name or his face. I shrugged, and Taku nodded slightly, still grimacing. That's probably the guy they're talking about is probably the true route of this game. That's usually how it goes. Like, there's like this really odd, unusual like character that is like buck wild, and they're usually like the true route of the game, unless nitro+chiral has decided to pull a fast one on us. So we'll see. They don't usually like stem away from their blueprint, if that makes sense. Okay. Sorry, I had to lift my leg again. Meanwhile, unpleasant memories rose to mind. I first joined the Takasato Gumi back when my mother died. When I was in middle school, she died in an accident. Then a Yakuza named Sakaki came and told me she was his gang leader's mistress. His gang leader's oh, okay. That like his mom, as in like she as his mom. I was so confused. That sentence was a little confusing. There, I learned that his name was Takasato Ryujiro, and he was my father. As a kid, I only knew Sakaki was a good friend of my mother's. I never knew he was in a gang. After her death, he tried his best to look out for me. Then one thing led to another, and I joined the Takasato Gumi. No real reason. He invited me to join, so I figured I would. To him, my mother was a dear friend, and he would always reminisce about her. Because of that, he didn't feel like some Yakuza thug. He felt like family. As for my actual family, I couldn't remember much of them or anything that happened prior to my mother's death. I vaguely recalled that I had a little sister, but I couldn't remember what she looked like. At the time of my mother's accident, I was injured and sent to the hospital. Maybe that had something to do with it. Oh, I see. ... I stroked the eye patch over my right eye. Oh, okay, so he doesn't have like a... There was no point in looking back. It was all in the past. Even without my childhood memories, I was still right here, living and breathing. Okay, so he has he has amnesia, and probably brain damage. So that would probably explain a lot of things. Also, you know, he probably is mentally ill. I mean, you know, if he joined a gang, especially one as apparently very deadly as the Takasato Gumi, then yeah. This would his behavior makes a lot more sense now. Like the way he is makes a lot more sense. I looked down at the table. Taku had stabbed his fork into my cold, half-eaten honey toast. Then without batting an eye, he dragged it over to his own plate. Rude. He made it sound like he was entitled to eat my leftovers. He had a point though. I wasn't planning on eating the rest, but still. Rude. I laid my knife and fork to rest. Then I lit a cigarette, took the longest possible drag, and blew it all back at him. Towa's just like, Rude. Grimacing, Taku waved a hand in front of his face.
本当に成功したかどうか試してるんだよ。
Ooh, you spicy little...
今やるな今。食事中だぞ。
Boy. I fixed him with an impish grin. Scowling, he went back to the rest of my honey toast. As he wolfed down a few more bites, I smirked at him.
なんだ
What?
よく食うなと思って。
Oh.
お前が小食すぎるんだよ。
Okay, Brood. Calm down. He wiped his mouth roughly with a napkin and rose from the table.
ほら、行くぞ。
Yakuza! He grabbed the check and headed over to the register to pay. I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray, then followed after him. Clap, clap. Clap, clap. 7:36. Okay. After we left the cafe and I parted ways with Taku, I wandered around town for a while. Then once the sun set, I headed to the park. The place was the place where we used to know. Okay, sorry. That's not even the right song. The place was deserted on a winter night, and the white glow of the street lamps made it look even more desolate. I sat down on the chilly meadow bench and lit another cigarette. I wasn't ready to go home yet, so I was trying to kill time. As I watched the pale smoke float up into the dark sky, I heard a commotion in the distance. Several pairs of footsteps were approaching, and when they passed under a street lamp, I recognized them instantly.
Hola!
Oh,
やっぱり
boy.
Towa だ。
Oh no. Oh no. I don't know you. I don't know you.
本当だ。
I don't know who you are. I don't know. Who? Towa who? I don't know who you talk about.
Towa さん。
Who's Towa? who's Towa? Oh no. Kotaro, Mayu, and Eiji were three guys I knew very well. They walked right over to me. I'm not
お
Towa.
前、よく見えるよな。真っ暗なのにあんな遠くから。
I don't know. I'm not Towa. I don't know who you are.
目めっちゃいいの俺。超くっきりはっきり見えるよ。
Oh boy.
アニメばっか見てるのに謎だよその視力。
They have time to watch anime in the city?
むしろアニメで鍛えられてるのよ。
Oh gosh.
つうかとは何やったんだこんなとこで。
Tanned, muscular Kotaro bent over to get a good look at my face. Wow, I love their designs are kind of bussin'. You can tell they are not the business. Like, they're not good news. They're here to mess up your life here. You could say he had a wild side. Or a short temper, depending on how you looked at it. He looks like he's wearing, like, the Leonhardt, like... the Squall Leonhardt... symbol, the necklace. Sorry. he's a distant relative of Squall's. I mean, they kind of have the vibe going on, so. Oh goodness gracious, sorry.
ぼんやりしちゃって。よからぬ妄想。でもしてた？
Oh my gosh, Mayu, please. Please. Also, You're gonna get cold. You should put a jacket on. Mayu cackled around the lollipop in his mouth. He was the tallest and leanest of the three, and he dressed up like he found his clothes in the dumpster.
ケーキ漬けに一発爆弾でもどうですか？目覚めますよ。
Sir, you need to calm down. Okay, Zankyo no terror. Like, calm down. The guy in the beanie was Eiji, who was an expert at information gathering and bomb assembly. Using the power of social media, he had a vast information network that he used to collect all kinds of intel. I had slept with... Sorry. I had slept with Kotaro and Mayu a couple times out of boredom, but never with Eiji. He told me he wasn't really into sex stuff. Oh boy, that's good to know. Kotaro's smoke was red, Mayu's was fuchsia, and Eiji's was a blue-green.
別に一服してただけ。
暇ってことが。なら
デスマッチエリアに行かねえか?
Say yes, Towa, say yes. I want to go to the deathmatch area. I want to go. With a grin, Kotaro straightened up and jerked his chin in the direction of District A.
面倒だからパス。
No, Towa! Let's go!
言うと思った。とは絶対言うと思ったよ。
Calm down. Maya needs to calm down.
暇な
Towa
ら
and
え
I
え
are
やろ。
tired.
付き合えよ。
But I do want to go.
元兄弟のよしみでよ。
Oh,
お前
gosh.
と杯を交わした覚えはない。
Blood brothers? I never performed any sake ritual with you. Kotaro, Mayu, and Eiji were all former guns for hire that got recruited to Takasato Gumi. Kotaro and Mayu were scouted via death matches after they proved their fighting skills. As for Eiji, supposedly he got invited to join after he hacked the social media accounts and websites for one of the Takasato Gumi's businesses. Of course, they were by no means the only people recruited this way. In fact, I'd heard of people taking part in death matches specifically to try and get in with the gang.
杯って言えばよ。とは親父の葬式に来なかっただろ。
Why the heck would he go see that dude? Kotaro
行
smirked.
くわけない。
Yeah, why
今日
would
の昼に葬式があって、昨日は通夜だったんだよ。
Oh boy. Cool.
全然興味なしって感じですね。
Listen, for blood brothers, weird blood brothers, y'all don't seem to know, like, Towa really, like, why would he? Why does he? You guys just, oh, you really don't care? Yes. Yes. Get with the program.
あ
Nope. I sincerely didn't. What did it matter to me if some total stranger kicked the bucket?
ま、いや。それよ
Yeah,
り
come
デスマ
on,
ッチエ
Towa,
リア
let's
だ。
go, let's
行こうぜ。
go. Let's go meet some more homies, you know?
行ってみたら意外と楽しいかもよ。
We're not gonna give it a try. We're just gonna go and watch. We're just gonna watch. You know?
も
We're
うい
just
っ
gonna
その
watch.
こと全部爆弾で吹き飛ばすっていうのはどうです？そしたら一瞬でみんな楽しくなりますよ。
We're trying to meet people, not blow up the arena.
何
Okay,
がだ
AJ?
バカ。
Yeah, exactly. Kotaro snorted and flicked Eiji's forehead.
ごたくはいいから行こうぜとは。ほら、立てよ。
Mercy. He grabbed my arm and hauled me up against my will. Once he had his mind set on something, it was impossible to get him to change it. He kept a firm hold on me as we walked, like he was worried I was gonna bolt.
俺らは上からデスマッチに参加するなって言われてっからよ。
The higher-ups
何
told
も
us
できねえ。
stay out of the matches so we can't. Oh, okay. Oh,
お前
pain.
は好きなだけ参加できるじゃねえか。羨ましいな、おい。元参加者として体がうずくぜ。
Calm down.
借金の取り立てで普段から好きなだけボコボコ殴ってるだろ。
Exactly.
それはお仕事だし、返さないアホが悪いね。でもいつも楽しそうに追いかけ回してるじゃないですか、お二人とも。僕も怖くって怖くって。
嘘つけ。
Yeah, because they're
借
like
金野郎の弱み
they're
や
like
個人
muscle
情
heads,
報や
and
ら
you're the
かき
ones
集めるの。
with the
お前
you're
の
the
仕
only
事だ
one
ろ
with
う
a
が。
brain cell. Because your job.
はい、それはもちろん。新興味の情報なら任せてください。
Okay. Take me to the deathmatch area. Ichi donned a big cheesy smile and Kotaro scoffed. I think I'm still in like I think I'm still in the intro section because we've only played the interrogation part like twice. Ugh. Oh, 3 times, sorry, 3 times. Here in Shinkoumi, as the poverty gap widened, many were burdened with large debts. Any debtor unable to make payments was mercilessly hounded by Takasato goons, and if that debt reached a certain size, the debtor would get a chip known as a web tag implanted in them. Oof. Web tag debtors were then tracked via surveillance towers erected all over Shinkoumi. They were forbidden to set foot outside the city until their debt was repaid. If they tried to leave, the Takasato Gumi would send pursuers to hunt them down and kill them, no questions asked. You might wonder how the gang got their money back if the debtor was dead, but corpses had plenty of monetary value. Oh yeah.
行くなら早く行こう。帰って録画しといたアニメ見たいんだよ。
Mood. Yeah, organ donation, organ harvesting, you know, easy money for gangsters. Mayu was already looking away like he'd lost interest in the conversation.
うるせえな、このアニメオタク。
っていうか、あのスズメ、ポップコーンを頬張りすぎね。欲張りすぎだよ。破裂しそう。
Oh boy.
あ？どこだよ。見えないっつうの。お前の異常な視力で見えるもんは普通の人間には見えねえんだよ。
みんなも俺みたいにアニメ見ればいいのよ。アニメ見ようよ。
Mayu, you and I, we in this, we in this. No thanks. Trapped in Kotaro's tight grip and stuck in the middle of their inane banter, I left the park behind. Alright. Deathmatch area! Deathmatch area! Deathmatch area! Deathmatch area! Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm so excited. District A, also known as the Deathmatch area, was a place forbidden to the average citizen. Not that they'd want to visit, because no normal person ever came around. Nearly all the shops had closed their doors for good. The deeper you traveled into the district, the rougher and the dirtier the city became. The place was busiest at night, but some unspoken rule, that was when everybody showed up. Fancy. As the four of us walked to the heart of District A, the sounds of scuffling and jeering grew louder.
Oh,今日も派手にやったんだ。
Kotaro grinned. Here, unlike anywhere else, the air smelled of dust and copper, and unlike anywhere else, everyone's smoke was full of chaotic energy. The countless colors shifted and blurred together like an aurora of reject crayons.
平和平和。この間の見せしめが効いたね。
見せしめ？ああ、銃ぶっ放しまくってたやつか。まあ、吊るしといたからな。
They strung him up.
銃は使用禁止になったのか？
That would make sense, I guess. AG shook his head in response to my question.
いえ、使用禁止という明確なルールは作ってません。相変わらず暗黙の了解状態ですよ。そのせいか、負けたことが悔しくてどうしても勝ちたい、復讐したいって新参者が銃を持ち込むことも増えてきてるんですけどね。
Technically, deathmatch rules permitted the use of weapons. However, weapons gave the armed fighters a huge advantage over the unarmed, so there was an implicit agreement among the participants not to bring any. Nevertheless, as AG said, some came armed regardless. These types were seen as cowards, and they were sometimes lynched as a warning to the others.
この間吊るしたやつはリンチを止めに入った俺らにも銃を向けてきたからよ。そりゃぶん殴るよな。
I see.
そうじゃなくても銃や武器が絡むと試合じゃなくて戦争が始まっちま
う。そういうアホを見つけたらボコって持ち込んだ武器と一緒に吊るしとくとね、それなりの効果があるんだよね。
Can you imagine getting beat up by Mayu though? Like his jumpsuit's not even zipped up all the way, and he's just like, and you're just
もしデスマッチが戦争になったら、その矛先は必ず高里組に向きます。それじゃ新興味がめちゃくちゃになっちゃいますから。
You right.
どんなに混沌としているように見えてもバランスは大事ですからね。
みんなが平和に暮らすためってとこか。
Keeping the peace, baby. As I listened, I thought to myself, what does peace even look like here in Shinkoumi? Once you fell into the depths of hell, you wouldn't be climbing back out again. No, you'd have to make your peace down here. And our little rock-bottom society played by its own rules. I was merely a cog in the machine. But believe it or not, I kind of liked it down here. Nothing worth caring about, nothing that could tie me down. In that sense, yeah, maybe it was peaceful. A nearby ring of onlookers started to cheer, and I looked over. A rainbow of smoke blurred together, flailing wildly. But I watched it all with cold indifference. Slow damage. Random bar. After I left the deathmatch area, I was sitting in some random bar getting drunk with my phone buzzed. There was a new message in the group chat between me, Rei, and Taku. Oh. Oh, bye. Oh, bye. Got a call about a critical patient. Come over ASAP. As it happened, I was thinking of going home anyway. Cigarette between my lips, I paid my tab and walked out. My a little butterfly. Sorry. A few minutes after I arrived back at the clinic, Rei showed up. The patient was gravely injured, but this was no ordinary patient. A group of men, possibly the guy's buddies, carried him in through the back entrance. His shirt was stained red with blood. All of them were wearing flashy clothes with a lot of accessories. These weren't innocent civilians. These were Yakuza. Most of the many medical facilities in Shinkoumi claimed to refuse service to gang members. In reality, a lot of them accepted those same patients behind closed doors, and this clinic was one of them. We were so often visited by Yakuza, you'd think Taku was one of them. Word on the street was he earned the Takasato, oh my gosh, Gumi's trust. Sometimes he would suddenly close the clinic or change office hours just to accommodate these special patients. Out of respect for his civilian patients, he made the gang bring their wounded in through the back, but it was an open secret at this point. This didn't scare off any of his regular patients, however. Doctors as good as Taku were hard to find. Besides, the residents of Shinkoumi accepted that these things came with the territory of living here. With permission, Rei began to remove the patient's shirt as he lay on the exam table. The man was sweating bullets, gritting his teeth to endure the pain. Stripping him revealed a stab wound on his side, covered in blood. Frowning, Taku examined the cut, then started patching him up. Rei and I assisted him as needed, following orders as he gave them. There. After he finished administering first aid, Taku let out a long sigh. The patient had regained a lot of color in his complexion compared to when he first arrived, and he seemed calmer now. Yeah, this dude looks like they would like blow at him, and he'd fall over. Grunting, the man tried to push himself into a sitting position. Taku held out a hand to stop him. ASAP! Ignoring Taku's request, the man sat himself up regardless, then clutching his bandaged side, he slowly hopped down off the exam table. Oof. Taku didn't bother trying to stop him. He knew precisely what kind of world this man lived in. The man snatched up his neatly folded shirt and started walking, pressing his hand against the wall for support. He left accompanied by his associates. Rei hurried after them. They would be leaving through the back the same way that they came in. The man's medical expenses would then be billed to the Takasato Gumi directly. As Taku and I tidied up the medical equipment, Rei came back in into the exam room and let out a giant sigh. I'm still laughing because it's like Rei's just like, you're like, oh, Rei's so nice, and he's like, so my hobby is to beat dudes up. Sorry. Rei nodded to himself sadly, his eyes on the floor. This sort of thing didn't happen every single day, but it was still fairly frequent. Judging from his stab wound, the patient probably got embroiled in some sort of fight. But Yakuza weren't the only ones who had to worry about physical danger. Everywhere you looked, this city was dripping with death and violence, the product of pent-up rage that no one knew how to allay. By this point, the line between Yakuza and civilian had blurred beyond recognition.
ああ、来てくれて助かったよ。急に呼び出してすまなかったな。
いいのよ、気にしないで。
気にしないで。
あと、明日の炊き出しよろしくな。
The soup kitchen.
はーい。
These two are saints. These two are saints. The unusual phrase gave me a pause, but Taku rolled his eyes.
先週から言ってただろう。忘れたのか？路上生活者や仕事が見つからない人たちを支援するボランティアのイベントだよ。
Very Gucci. Come to think of it, I vaguely remembered that conversation. Stuff I didn't care about generally wasn't a priority to me.
よろしく頼むな。あとは俺がやるから帰っていいぞ。
Oh, goodness. At his prompting, Rei and I left the room.
あ、とは。
Yes, Rei. Right as I was about to head up to my apartment, Rei stopped me.
最近絵の方はどうなの？誰かいいモデルは見つかった？
What are you implying
いや
here?
今のところは
What are you implying here? I shook my head. Rei was referring to my article on the fourth face, Roost's company blog recruiting potential art models. Oh. Outside of being an all-around degenerate, art was my sole hobby, specifically oil painting. Rei liked my work a lot. When he showed his boss at Roost, the guy decided he wanted to display all my new pieces in his establishment. That said, I couldn't paint a thing without a model. Not just any model, one who met my specific requirements. The manager of Roost liked to appraise and collect paintings as a hobby, and he wrote about all sorts of artists on the company blog, both professional and amateur. He also invited artists to send in photos of their submissions, which he would post on the site. And if he really liked a piece, he would display it in the bar. Periodically, articles would go up seeking models for my work. My artist alias was Euphoria, chosen for me by Rei. I didn't care too much, but apparently Euphoria had a unique style that attracted a considerable cult following. So whenever my model requests went up, I'd always get a handful of responses. It was more of a steady trickle than a torrent, so I only checked my inbox whenever I felt like it. It didn't matter how interested the model was. If I wasn't interested in them, I couldn't paint them. And lately, I wasn't interested in any of the people who emailed me.
早く新作書いてよね。一ファンとして楽しみにしてるんだから。
Right.
それじゃ、おやすみ。
Rei needs to chill. Calm down, Rei. With a playful wink, he strode off into the staff room, humming a jaunty tune as he went. Interesting. As for me, I took the elevator to the 3rd floor and went into my apartment. Then I switched on the TV, flopped onto the sofa, and grabbed my half-finished bottle of booze off the floor. After the lukewarm alcohol flowed down my throat, I grabbed the pack of cigarettes on the coffee table and lit one. Gazing up at the faint illumination of the flickering TV on the ceiling, I slowly exhaled the smoke. According to the clock on the wall, it was nearly 3 a.m. I still wasn't sleepy. So as I took another drag of my cigarette, I contemplated popping some sleeping pills. Slow damage. Okay. Emoto. It's The next day, Taku shook me awake and dragged me out to help with the volunteers. Oh yeah, the volunteer soup kitchen. But even then, we couldn't compete with the dozens upon dozens of people who had come to avail themselves of charity. Some of the volunteers looked like gangsters or host club workers. Some had showed up out of sheer boredom, some were genuinely trying to do some good, while others were just trying to improve their public image. Then Rei turned up, and the soup kitchen began. We ladled pork and veggie soup from a big pot into little styrofoam containers and handed them to each person in line.
あら、村瀬先生、こんにちは。
Oh, good morning. Chatty neighbor.
こんにちは。
相変わらず素敵ね。
Oh, hi. Hey.
いえ、とんでもないです。
Oh, calm down. As the locals passed through the line, they all said hello to Taku.
村瀬先生、この間はありがとう。
池山さん、その後、お孫さんの様子はいかがですか？
Hey, yo.
薬を飲んで寝たらすっかり良くなったみたいでな。先生のおかげだよ。
Oh, cute.
それはよかった。
Yes, indeed. The locals all deeply appreciated Taku's caring nature. They struck up conversations with him one after another.
あら、レイちゃんも手伝ってくれてるのね。
Yeah, Ray's here
お手
too.
伝いに来ました。
Yep, Ray's here.
イケメンだから目の保養になるわね。
Yeah, whatever. Whatever, he's good
そこは
looking.
美人って言ってくれないと。
I'm trying with you, Ray. You're making it very difficult for me to not, like, run away. Smiling, Ray raised a limp wrist, and the women all giggled in delight. Like Taku, he had an affable personality that was popular with the locals. However, me?
お前も来てたのか。
Oh no. This can't be good. Oh no. Not these fools. A familiar voice called out to me as I lazily helped with the soup distribution, and I looked up. There stood Kotaro, Mayu, and Eiji.
とは豚汁姿が様になってるね。
Calm down.
豚汁姿って何ですか？
What does that even mean?
知らないよ。
知れないで。
お前らも来るんだな、こういうイベント。
そりゃ上からの命令だし、しょうがないよね。
Wait, like, to volunteer? Or to just act up?
榊さん、意外とこういうの好きですからね。顔に似合わず。
Okay.
榊さんの命令じゃ断れねえだろ。ってことで、飼い主待たせてるから行く
Have
わ。
mercy. Okay. Rolling his eyes, Kotaro stalked off, scratching his head.
おいじゃん、とは
Ah, Mayu. I was wondering, I was just like, is Mayu supposed to be like Chinese?
失礼します。
Okay, I see. Ichi bowed politely, then hurried after Kotaro with Mayu.
最近高里組もこういうボランティアのイベントによく来るようになったわね。やっぱりイメージアップを狙ってるのかしら。
Ray gazed after the Three Stooges as he stirred. That's a good way to explain. As he stirred the soup pot.
榊が次期組長の座でも狙ってるんじゃないのか。
Oh yeah, maybe. To me, it was a pretty casual topic, but Ray frowned awkwardly. He probably felt bad that my father died or something.
榊さん、次の組長でほぼ確定らしいわよ。でも組長の座を狙ってるって言われてる人。もう一人いるじゃない？
Sorry.
あのメガネの透かしてる方。
Oh, is that who they are? Okay.
しろ。
Okay.
どうだろうな。俺は見てない。
I was like, I have no idea. No idea at all. Ray was referring to Tono Masami, the chief administrator of the Takasato Gumi. Sakaki and Tono were diametrically opposed in every way, and as you might expect, they got along like oil and water. I looked in the direction Kotaro had gone and saw a group of thuggish youths and guys in suits, all of them Takasato Yakuza, probably.
やっぱりライバル同士になるわけだから、顔を合わせたくないのかしらね。
俺に聞かれてもな。
Why is Ray asking? Like, it's like, I don't know. I gazed out at the group of gangsters. The nearby civilians were all giving them a wide berth. The smoke that rose from the group was a swirl of muddy colors, but you didn't need to have special powers to avoid them. Then I heard Taku calling for me and turned my attention back to the task at hand. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I thought I was gonna do the thing. Slow damage. Once the long line of people finally dwindled, I was mercifully cut loose. It was just past 2 p.m. I stood in the shade of a tree a short distance from the event space, taking a smoke break. As I stared around absently, I caught sight of a familiar man. Oh, he was wearing a gray suit and talking to the guy in charge of the charity event, Sakaki. He seemed to sense my gaze. He looked over his shoulder at me, then came walking straight over right away. Oh boy.
Oh, Towa じゃねえか。
Hey. Sakaki was the Takasato Gumi's second in command. Given his position, the younger guys all feared him, but he was always pretty nice to me. His smoke was a vibrant green color.
お前はあれか、村瀬さんのお付き合いか。
ああ、さっき小太郎たちと会った。
I'm gonna bet like $2. I'm bet like $2 that this dude was probably into Towa's mom. That or their siblings. I don't know. One of the two. Yeah. Because otherwise the attachment doesn't really make sense. If you know what I mean. Okay.
Oh, so good.
He slid both hands into the pockets of his slacks and looked around.
まあたまにはこういうのもきちんと見に来ねえとな。カジノだセレブだってそんなことばかりやってたら足元がふらついちまうからよ。今日俺たちも後ろぐらい商売だけじゃやってけねえんだ。これからは企業としての体裁も整えていかねえとってやつだ。
He's got it right. He got it right, got it tight. He shrugged off my absent response and grinned.
なんか困ったことがあったらいつでも来いよ。最大限のバックアップをしてやるからよ。映画ってのはそう長くは続かないんだな。いつ何時戦争が起こるかわからないから。なんかあったら。
If they start going at it, call me up. Hit me up.
それとお前。
Oh boy. He leaned in to whisper in my ear.
親父の葬儀来なかったな。
Why would I go? Why would he go? Why is everybody asking him this question? Like, why on earth would he go? Like, Towa doesn't want to be the next boss. You know, he doesn't want to be the next boss. This dude barely talked to him. This dude didn't care. Like, you know, his mom was the his mom was like literally just a mistress. Like, why would he go? Why would he go? No, that's what I want to know. Why these people asking these questions that don't make no sense. You know, exactly. Why would he?
だよな。お前はそう言って分かっちゃいるんだが。
And why did you ask? There was a suggestive pause as he rubbed his neck.
まあいい。じゃあな。
All right, see you, boss. He promptly cut the conversation short and walked off with a wave.
Towa! いた!
Right as he left, Rei ran up behind me.
何? Sakaki さんと話してたの?
別に
Don't worry
挨
about
拶
it.
だけ。
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Squinting dubiously, he watched Sakaki disappear into the distance.
あの人もよくわかんない人よね。妙に人情派っていうか、トワをすっごく構うし、息子の面倒を見る父親って感じ。
Ray, I'm gonna need you to catch up. I'm gonna need you to catch up on this. I'm gonna need to catch up.
ガキの頃からの付き合いだし。
まあ、それもそうか。そういえば、もう一人のメガネの透かした方は、やっぱり来てないみたい。
Darn.
でかいのが揃いも揃って邪魔だよ。
Oh. Hello? Out of nowhere, a mountain of styrofoam containers appeared, interrupting us.
何かと思ったら、おばあちゃん。
Oh, hey, what's up, Granny? Beneath the mountain of styrofoam was the old lady who ran Tajima's. As she held her containers, she glared up at us sharply. But as soon as she laid eyes on Rei, her expression softened slightly.
なんだよあんた。いたのかい?
She said, "Oh, JK."
いたわよ。みんなのお手伝いに来たの。
まあ、人手は大いに越したことはないからね。
でしょ？おばあちゃんたちの何倍も働けるから、どんどん行ってちょうだい。
Yes, Rei.
助かるよ。
助かるよ. Rei had a massive sweet tooth, so he was always buying things at Tajima's. Because of that, the old lady seemed to have taken a liking to him.
おばあちゃん、それ大丈夫？持とうか？
いや、これぐらいどうってことないよ。他お手伝いな。
She said, "Nah."
わかったわ。でも気をつけてね。
Rei just wants candy. He has ulterior motives. As she slowly tottered off, Rei waved goodbye, then turned back to me.
イベントは16時までだからもうすぐ終わりよ。
4 o'clock.
そろそろタクのところへ戻りましょう。
Together we started walking. Before long, we found Taku slumped on a beach, his hands folded on his stomach, looking up at the sky. What you brooding about? When he spotted us, he forced himself upright. Fatigue etched deeply into the lines of his face.
お疲れ様。忙しすぎてあっという間に時間経っちゃったわね。
本当にな。お前たち何か食べたか？残り物ならまだあるみたいだ。
Leftovers.
私はさっきもらって少し食べたわ。トワは？
Towa.
いや。
No. Towa's like, I pulled a pack of cigarettes from the back pocket of my jeans.
まさかあんたのご飯それ？もう。
Rei. You were putting me through it. Rei shot me a pointed look as I lit one up. Yes? I looked over in response to my name, then Taku jerked his head up to point at something. I looked in the direction he indicated and saw Sakaki standing with Kotaro, Mayu, and Eiji.
さっきあいつらと話してただろ。
Yeah.
ああ、話しかけられたから。
Yeah, but they started.
昔からの顔見知りだから付き合いやすいんだろうが、あまり深く関わるなよ。
そうね。いつトラブルに巻き込まれるかわかんないし。
Listen, Towa's trying. I can't lie to you. Like, Towa's just like, no. And they're like, eh! Rei nodded, frowning. I looked away and didn't say anything. I wasn't trying to get in with any of them. They wanted to talk to me, so I responded. That's all. I was pretty sure Taku understood that, but because he was so paranoid about the Takasato Gumi, he kept nagging me over and over. Ironic considering how many gangsters he treated at his own clinic.
あ、ねえ、今日はルーストに来るの？
I don't know, am I?
多分。
Oh, I guess we might be.
店長
We
が
might be.
珍しいお酒を仕入れたから、トワに飲んでみてほしいって言ってたわよ。あまり万人受けしない味らしいんだけど、あんたならいけるんじゃないかって。
Alright. Interesting. I was generally willing to drink just about anything alcoholic, so if he wanted me to try something, I was down for
今
it.
晩お待ちしております。
To your patronage. Alright. Rei pressed one hand to his chest and bowed like a humble butler.
あまり飲みすぎるなよ。
Don't get too drunk.
私が見張る
No
から
promises.
任せて。
No promises. No promises. This is Towa we're talking about. Oh my lord. Ignoring their banter, I looked out at the setting sun and exhaled a lungful of cigarette smoke. Slow damage. I got it. Okay, I think we'll do this section here because I don't know if we'll be running into the other two guys anytime soon is the problem. So late then, or let me not count my ducks before they hatch. Let's see. After the soup kitchen, the three of us stopped by the local diner. After that, I headed downtown. As I wandered around looking for a place to have a drink, I heard the sounds of an argument in the distance. There was a crowd of people standing in the middle of the street. Through the sea of people, I could see a man in a suit scoffing down at the ground. It was Tono. Ooh! He was glaring down at a frightened man who had fallen to the asphalt. Then he and his cronies cut through the crowd. As he walked, he spotted me standing there, and his disgruntled scowl shifted to surprise. His reddish-brown smoke fluttered in the breeze. He looks like... Wait, he looks like, Saotome, Gaku's dad from Idol 7. Come on. They got the same like facial structure, you know, and they got the same mouth. No. He and his cronies walked over and came to a stop right in front of me. A little. A little. I see. He sounded completely uninterested. Then he started cracking his neck.
少し
Just a little. Just a
近
little
頃は
bit.
借りた恩を踏み倒そうとするやつが多くてな。困ったもんだ。
Of course, of course. He let out an exasperated sigh, then donned a condescending smirk.
ところで、昨日は炊き出しのボランティアとやらにお前も行ったのか？
Oh boy.
ああ、強制連行で。
村瀬か。純粋にボランティアとして参加するのは大いに結構なことだ。だが、昨日はうちの連中も来てたんだろう？
Yeah, they were there. They were there.
俺たちがそんなイベントにわざわざ参加するなんて、あざといと思わないか？
I mean, you really should. I mean, you should, because it at least puts some kind of trust within the public, you know? That's why rich people donate money and they do volunteer work. Like, half of them don't like it that much. They just need to do it, you know? And also half of them are bored too, you know? It was a loaded statement, aimed squarely at Sakaki's head. As for me, I just shrugged. Tono's lip curled in contempt.
親父が言って、組もしばらくはゴタゴタするだろうが、もし何か困ったことがあれば言えよ。助けてやる。
For free? I don't think you're helping me for free, so. It was obvious he didn't mean a word of it, and he clearly had no intention of pretending otherwise. If anything, maybe he was just mocking Sakaki's general disposition.
じゃあな。
With that, he and his goons headed off downtown. Likewise, I started walking without a moment's hesitation. Right as I stepped into an empty alleyway to avoid the crowds, however, my phone buzzed in my coat pocket. Oh gosh, who was it now? I pulled it out and checked the screen. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. It was a newsletter titled Shinkoumi Times from A to Z. AG sent them out to his mailing list periodically. I never asked for the subscription, but apparently anyone who traded contact info with him got added to it. His stance was if you don't like it, unsubscribe. The newsletter mostly featured local news updates with a light sprinkling of unsubstantiated rumors, informal polls, and other random crap. It was completely useless to me, but since he only sent them every now and then, I couldn't be bothered to unsub. So here I was. I closed my inbox and opened a browser tab. From my bookmarks, I selected Roost's blog, The Fourth Face. I like to check in every now and then, whenever I felt like it. Sometimes there were really good submissions, so it was a decent way to kill some time. I hadn't checked in a while, so there were a fair few articles I dismissed. Apparently, they finally caught the artist who was exclusively using oil paint made from human remains. I was following that case for a while. They'd found evidence that he was murdering people to make paint. Ooh. Honestly, if he managed to make the Shinkoumi police force get off their booties, then he must have been pretty... he must have been a pretty terrible criminal. Alas, now he would never paint again. Next, an article discussing an acrylic painter and how their style changed over time. While they started out painting intricate lines... Whew, sorry, 1 second. The words are getting longer. Okay. Intricate lines and pale colors, they suddenly switched to gloomy pieces painted predominantly with black. Comparing the two styles side by side, I could immediately tell it was a side effect of drug use. I'd seen these stark style shifts dozens of times in the past, and it wasn't that uncommon. I skimmed the other articles for a while, then came to a stop at one particular artist. Ooh. Right. It was a photograph of a wound. It was specifically a bloody cut somewhere on the body. I could tell the image had been retouched, but to me it looked like an ordinary self-harm cut. And yet something was off about it. I didn't know what it was. Was this a wrist? Or a leg? ... Ah, here we go! For a while, I scrutinized the image, trying to work it out. Then I closed the tab. Since it was posted on Roost's blog, the manager there would probably have more information about it. With that thought, I headed to Roost. Ooh. social boy. Tell him! Okay. At first glance, you wouldn't realize Roost was a bar at all. There's no sign out front, so for the most part, it just looked like a tall, spindly concrete building. Let's go! Okay. As I stepped inside, the ethereal music and lighting greeted me, like always. The bar was pretty packed, or at least I was having trouble seeing any empty seats. But this wasn't some sports bar for normies. The people who gathered here were a particular inclination that naturally resulted in tight crowds. Rei walked around waiting tables. Meanwhile, the manager quietly worked the counter. Sup, manager? He had an unusual hairstyle and always wore a perfectly fitted black shirt. Late 40s, if I had to guess. As he crafted cocktails and washed dishes, he gazed around the bar. I'd never seen him get emotional or speak a single word, more than was strictly necessary. Likewise, his smoke was a calm yellow color, like a daffodil. The bar was furnished with all sorts of unusual decorations and paintings. Shields and tapestries with magical motif, porcelain dolls with cracks all over them, accessories featuring eyeballs and holy crosses. Love that. I couldn't help but wonder where he bought this. Altogether, it engendered a vibe that attracted those with eccentric tastes. Everyone was welcome here. That was the manager's attitude, and so it became the dominant culture at Roost. Wow, these paintings are buck wild. Okay. Granted, the barrier to entry was still pretty high for the average normie, but for a fringe minority, it was home.
Irashai.
Irashai. Cute. As I walked up to the counter and sat down on an empty stool, the manager looked up from the glass he was wiping.
Towa-kun, 待ってたよ。実はちょっと頼みがあって。
Oh gosh, a
レイ
special
から聞い
request.
た。珍しい酒があるって。
Yes,
そうそう。
indeed.
ちょっと待ってね。
He turned to the shelf behind him, grabbed a bottle, and held it out for me to see.
これね。アブさんっていうよもぎのお酒で、
Absinthe.
いろんなメーカーから出てるんだけど。
I love those chocolates.
こっちじゃあまり出回ってないやつをフランスから取り寄せたんだ
You
よ。
just can't have too much of that.
でも、この味は苦手な人も多いだろうから勧めづらくて。
Most people hate this, but I figure since it's you, for you. I love that. Okay. He poured a small amount of the green liquid into a glass. Then he set a perforated spoon on top of the glass and placed a sugar cube on top of it. As I watched curiously, he grabbed a jug of water and slowly poured it over the sugar cube and into the glass. Apparently, he was trying to melt the sugar.
そうやって飲むのが普通なのか。
伝統的な飲み方らしいよ。だけど、なかなか手がかかるんだよね。
By the time the cube was nearly melted, the translucent green liquid had gone pale and cloudy. He stirred the glass with a perforated spoon, then slid it over to me.
はい、どうぞ。
I picked it up and took a small sip. The cold liquid slid down my throat, leaving a bitterness in my mouth not unlike herbal medicine. It tasted like someone put their lawn clippings in a juicer. It was bizarre and potent.
どう？
How is it?
砂糖なしでもいいんじゃないか。
Doesn't really need the sugar. He nodded, smiling.
トワ君ならそう言うと思ってたよ。その苦味と味の強さが苦手で砂糖を入れる人が多いらしいんだけどね。
Towa said, for me?
度数は
60。
That would explain why it burned my throat. I could understand its lack of broad appeal.
トワ来てたんだ。
Towa's here. As I was taking my second sip, I heard a familiar voice.
ああ、昼間に運動したから疲れちゃった。
Workout. Rei strolled across the bar and sat down next to me. Though he was technically on the clock, he was allowed to sit and chat as long as it wasn't too busy.
昼って炊き出しのボランティア？
そう、タクが出るっていうから、私とトワも一緒にね。トワは私以上に疲れたんじゃない？
He's always laying around. I shrugged off his teasing. He made a show of pouting.
何よ、つまんないの。あ、それマスターが言ってたお酒？どうだっ
Was
た？
that the weird alcohol? I love how it's just absinthe.
飲むか
Find out? You want to find out? Mess around, want to find out? Gingerly, he took the glass. Like an anxious puppy, he leaned in to sniff it.
やった。何この匂い。とはこれ飲んだの？飲めるの？
I mean, honestly, it's not that bad. I mean, was I just like strong back in the day when I had it?
ま、普通に。
It's decent.
うわ。私これは匂いだけでダメ。
He's like, it smells. It smells bad. His unabashed disgust got a chuckle out of the manager.
これって薬草が原料のお酒なのよね。
Isn't this made out of like grass?
そうだね。
Oh boy.
植物か。
It's plant honey. Don't you drink sake? It's rice.
レイ君って植物嫌いだったっけ？
Yeah, I was about to say, I was just like, don't you?
うん、花は大好きよ。でも植物って見てる分にはいいんだけど、腐ってくるとすごい匂いになるじゃない？
Are you sure?
だから自分じゃ買ったり育てたりする気にならないのよね。
I've never heard that before, that it's like, oh, they smell really bad. I mean, plants just, they just rot.
なるほどね。腐臭っていうのはどの生き物も大体似たような匂いを発するんだよ。
It doesn't smell that weird. Like...
鼻に残る嫌な甘ったるさがあるっていうか、人間も植物も動物も。
Oh boy. The subject matter contrasted sharply with his bright smile.
店長って普段は温厚だから忘れがちだけど。
And now I remember. Yeah, he's
やっぱりこの
he's a
お
little
店の
weird.
店長よね。
He's got like some real weird stuff going on. As they talked, an image rose to the forefront of my mind. The wound photo from Roost's blog. Flowing blood, exposed flesh, the sweet smell of decay wouldn't be too out of place.
店長、聞きたいことがあるんだけど。
どうぞ。
ブログに載ってた傷の画像。あれ、知り合い？
ああ、あの画像。なかなか良かったでしょ？
何傷の画像って。私その記事まだ見てない。
レイ君、その前にお客さん、会計お願いします。
He said, Ray, move.
はい。
Ray rose from his seat and walked over to the register.
話の続きだけど、あの画像ね。僕の知り合いじゃなくて、初めて投稿された作品なの。それで、僕も気に入ったから、作者のフレーズにメールしてみたんだけど、連絡がつかなくて。一応作品の投稿時には、メールアドレスの記入を必須にしてるんだけど、ステアドだったみたいでね。
ブログには載せてほしいけど、素性は知られたくないってことか。
多分そうだろうね。連絡が取れたら、店に作品を展示させてもらおうと思ってたんだけど、ちょっと残念だよね。まあ、また投稿があるかもしれないし、僕も誰か作者を知らないか周りに聞いてみるつもり。何か分かったらトワ君にも教えるね。興味あるでしょ。
I wanna know. Forget Towa, I wanna know.
まあ。
He's like, I guess.
だと思った。
Roost drew in not just those with eclectic interests, but equally eclectic artists who sought to cultivate a following. As a result, people often came here to get or give out contact info.
お会計終わったわ。さっきの話の続き教えて。
He's like, me. Ray rushed back and eagerly leaned both arms on the counter.
店のブログ見てみろよ。
あ、そっか。まずはそこからよね。オッケー。
Gotcha. He pulled his cell phone from his pocket of his waist apron.
ああ、この画像ね。っていうかとはこれが気になったの？これってリストカットじゃないの？
そう見えるけど違う。
違うの？手首か何かを切った後の画像にしか見えないけど。もし本当に違うなら、どうやって作ってるのかしら。
I need you to pick it up, Ray. I need you to pick it up.
今トワ君にも話したんだけど、 メールアドレスが捨て跡だったから連絡が取れなくてね。フレーズっていう名前しかわからない謎の作者なんだよ。
何それ、ミステリアスじゃない。
Mysterious?
ちょっとワクワクするわね。
Oh gosh. Ray shot me a meaningful grin.
こういう人がモデルになるといいわね。せっかくあんたが興味持ったんだし、ぴったりじゃない。
True.
そううまくはいかないだろ。
Towa doesn't even know what he looks like. I downed the rest of the bittersweet absinthe. Wormwood. Ooh. Yes, indeed.
そうだ、レイ君。この間店でやったボディアートの相談イベント。
え、本当に？
Oh, I didn't mean to click.
それでね、定期的に開催してみようかと思うんだけど。
What do I think?
レイ君さえ良ければ。
What do you think, Ray?
やるわ。あのイベント、いろんな人の話が聞けてすっごく勉強になったの。そこからお客さんになってくれる人もいたし、またやりたいなって思ってたのよ。
Soldier Boy Towa. Body art, also known as body modification, was one of Ray's other hobbies. Considering it was a hobby, he researched it pretty thoroughly, and he could perform all kinds of services, from tattoos to implants. Do you do BBLs? Not for me. Asking for a friend. His work was highly acclaimed, and apparently recent body art consultation event was a huge hit too. A few decades ago, body art was frowned upon in this country, but in recent years it became accepted for people to augment their bodies. Obviously, tattoos were common, but these days, LEDs and IC chips were becoming mainstream too. Some of the customers here had glowing fingernails or horns growing out of their forehead. For a lot of people, it was a fashion statement.
それじゃあ、またイベントの打ち合わせしようか。
Let's do it.
よろしくお願いします。
So this city is essentially very sussy. Tray and dishcloth in hand, Ray cheerfully walked off. Slow damage. I don't think it's time yet. I stumbled down the street early the next morning after drinking at Roost all night long. Ray was worried about letting me leave, but I assured him I was used to it. Oh, yep, there I go. There he goes, baby. This kind of thing happened all the time. It wasn't rare for me to end up down here on the concrete either. I thought I was walking straight, but everything was spinning, and the next thing I knew, I was on my side. I felt a dull ache spread through my body, but it didn't really bother me, probably because I was so drunk. Now that I was lying down, however, fatigue quickly set in. I didn't want to get up again. My eyelid drooped. It felt like gravity was pulling me down hard against the ground. I guess this is happening. With that thought, I closed my eye. And because I was so wasted, it didn't take long for me to pass out. Slow damage. Not yet. Oh yeah, slow damage. I was right. What do we got here? Oh. This isn't our home. Ugh, my head. The stabbing pain made me grimace. Where am I? Forcing my sluggish brain to cooperate, I slowly reviewed the events of last night. I went to Roost, got drunk, and left. Then on my way home, I must have passed out on the sidewalk. And yet for some reason, I was now lying on a bed. This was not my room. There was a weird smell. Not an unpleasant sense, just very distinct. I must have smelled it somewhere before. Ah yes, plants! As my mind sharpened, I sat up and looked around the room. Did someone take my drunk off of the street? I was wearing all my clothes and my... Apparently they didn't have their way with me while I was out. Oh my gosh, Towa. So someone just brought me here? Was it one of my past hookups? Whoever it was had tucked me in, but I pushed the covers off and moved to get up, until I saw the bandage wrapped around my arm. I didn't remember getting a bandage on my arm. I didn't even remember needing a bandage. Was this the work of the same person who brought me here? Ew. I unrolled the bandage to find a 4-inch piece of gauze taped to my skin. Why are you taking it off? Under that was a 4-inch long cut. When and where did I get this wound? And who treated it? I mean, you did fall. Confused, I tossed the unrolled bandage to the bed and stood up. Every time I moved, my head throbbed and my vision pitched sideways. The room was clean and tidy, with a table, a small sofa, a TV, a bed, and dozens of decorative plants. You could also see pruning shears, a spade, and a watering can. Whoever lived here clearly liked gardening. The potted plants were easily the best part about this place, and I could even see more of them lined up on the balcony. I was clueless about plants, so I couldn't tell what they were, but when I smelled that weird smell again, my attention narrowed in on them. To a novice like me, they all looked like the same kind of plant, so I couldn't tell them apart. Judging from their verdant leaves and bright blooming flowers, their owner probably took good care of them. Still, this was all only making the mystery even deeper. What was I doing here in this plant room? Ayo. I could see a coat sitting folded on the sofa and recognized it as mine. I grabbed it and put it on. Then I opened the door and walked out of the green leafy room into a hallway where I found even more potted plants. There were so many, they took up half the walking space. I progressed down the hall to the front door, where I found my shoes lined up neatly. Seriously, what motive did they have? I stepped into my shoes and left the apartment. Do you even know where you are? Briefly, I glanced over my shoulder at the number plate. 1403. No name listed. Sus. I walked down to the end of the hall and found an elevator, but decided to take the stairs instead, all the way down to the ground floor. As I passed through the lobby, I glanced over at the mailboxes. I spotted one for 1403, but once again, there was no name listed. Once I was outside, I looked back at the building. It was a high-rise condo tower, about 25 stories tall. Judging from that, this was probably District E. Unlike mainland Japan, high-rise condos in Shinkoumi rented for cheap, especially in District E. Looking at the endless walls of them, I could easily imagine why. Back in its heyday, Shinkoumi city officials ignored safety protocols to build enough housing for the new influx of residents. They were all built on unsteady foundations, and they were packed in so tightly, you'd scarcely get any sunlight living there. The buildings only got taller as you traveled closer to the ocean. Livability wasn't a high priority when the land itself was so limited. In these parts, if you owned a single-story house, you were rich. I pulled my phone out of my coat pocket and launched the GPS app to find out where I was. Murase Clinic was a 15-minute walk away. I quietly memorized my route, then dropped my phone back into my pocket and started walking. Boom! Boo! Oh boy. When I arrived at the clinic, I went upstairs to my apartment. Boy, oh boy. Inside, the TV that I had left on had been switched off. Probably Taku again. My clean laundry was sitting folded on the sofa, and I got the sense he'd tidied things up while I was gone. I pulled off my coat and flung it over the back of the sofa. Then I switched the TV back on and flopped down on my back. I grabbed the pack of cigarettes off the coffee table and lit one. My hangover had persisted since I woke up in a stranger's house, and it ached with every heartbeat. Slowly, I exhaled the cigarette smoke and lifted my arm into view. My brand new mystery cut was still oozing. Why did you take off the bandage? I thought back to the strange apartment filled with nothing but plants. What kind of weirdo lived there? As curious as I wasn't going to go out of my way to find out. I had only taken a couple of drags, but nevertheless, I pinched my cigarette between my fingers and put it out in the ashtray. My body felt like lead. I draped one arm over my eyes, and I wandered into the darkness behind my eyelids. Slow damage.
Ah, ita!
Sorry, that was slow damage. I heard my door open, followed by a loud, cheerful voice that stabbed into my eardrums. At least now, I didn't have to wonder who it was. I lowered the arm I had draped over my eyes and looked in the direction of the voice. Rei and Taku were standing there in my room.
ちょっととは、昨日はあれからまっすぐ家に帰ったの？ていうかお昼よ、お昼。
Rei set his large tote bag down on the coffee table with a thud. Taku walked over to the sofa and crouched down to check on me.
肺が悪そうだな。大丈夫か？
I don't know if there was like a flashing, and like I think there was something flashing, and I can't tell what it is. I don't know if it's part of the game. It's probably part of the game. Gotcha.
昨日も飲みまくってたものね。いつものことだけど。
There's a lot. With a catty quip, Rei pulled out a series of plastic containers and set them on the table. Apparently, they were here to eat lunch with me. Whenever Rei cooked for us, we would always eat it up here.
今日のメニューはトマトハンバーグカレーよ。
Oh, that sounds so good.
なんだか洒落てるな。
Oh, that sounds so
そう？
good.
時間がなかったから簡単にできるものにしたんだけど。
Oh,
お皿と飲み物の準備お願い。
I don't get paid till like Thursday. Yeah. Taku rose to his feet, walked into my seldom-used kitchen, and fetched us a bunch of stuff: plates, forks, spoons, and bottled drinks.
ありがとう。ほら、トアも起きて。食べるわよ。
At Rei's prompting, I slowly sat myself up. My head still ached, but not as bad as earlier. Oh, curry sounds so good! Then he served up his ground beef tomato curry, and we were ready to eat.
いい匂いだな。
Smells delicious.
でしょ？それじゃ、早速食べましょう。
Does no one
いただき
notice
ます。
the gaping, like, oozing injury that Towa has? Rei picked up his spoon and started eating. Taku took a bite, then immediately looked at Rei. This is great.
でしょ？
でしょ？
トマトの酸味が効いてるな。
Oh, yeah.
そうなの、そうなの。トアはどう？
Towa's like, Rei shot me a hopeful look, so I picked up my spoon.
ちょっと待て、トワ。
Oh, so he finally noticed the bleeding arm? But before I could take a bite, Taku stopped me.
どうした？それ。また怪我したのか？
He eyed the fresh cut on my arm.
ああ、ちょっと。
He's like, kinda.
見せてみろ。
Spoon still in hand, I offered him my arm. He took it and gingerly pulled it
切ら
close.
れたのか？
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked pretty, like, deep. Did you get
い
stabbed?
や、わからない。
I have no idea.
わからない。
You don't know. Taku, you guys act like this is, like, surprising, and it's not, because it's Towa. Towa, like, doesn't even know who he is half of this game. Like,
気づいたらこうなってて、包帯も巻かれてた。
包帯？どういうことだ？
昨日、ルーストの帰りに道端で潰れて。
oh no.
やっぱり。
目が覚めたら、知らない部屋にいた。
え？
Right, what?
お前、そりゃ。
Why are you guys acting surprised? The two of them stared at me, wide-eyed.
え、知らない部屋ってどういうこと？
そのままの意味だよ。
Exactly what it sounds like.
誰か
Oh
に連れ込ま
god.
れたのか？他に被害は？
They have a right to be concerned, but like Towa's just like, seems okay minus this random cut on my arm that's pretty large, but I took off the bandage.
何も。ベッドに寝かされて、この傷ができてたくらい。
それって泥酔してわけがわからないうちにやられちゃったってこと？
Oh gosh.
いや、何もされてない。
え、意味がわからないんだけど。
They're just like, Towa. Towa's like,
酔いつぶれて、つまり酔いつぶれて目を覚ましたら知らない部屋のベッドに寝ていて覚えのない怪我をしていた。
he has a point. Yeah, Taku has a point.
その部屋は全然覚えがないわけ？心当たりも？
He's like,
ない。
部屋には誰かいたの？
when you vote.
誰も。
No.
何それ？なんだか気持ち悪いわね。 怪我だけで済んだからよかったけど。
Actual mood.
お前、本当に気をつけろよ。道端で寝込むなんて、襲ってくださいって言ってるようなもんじゃないか。
They both seemed incredibly worried for my safety, but not me. I got. Oh my gosh. Towa, no. No. Please. Please be nicer to yourself.
よし、食べたら早めに戻って、トアの怪我の処置をするか。
OK?
Why did they translate it like that? They could have literally translated it as like, okay, but I guess it's supposed to be like slang. And so the two of them started eating at lightning speed. They're just like, okay. But before I could finish, Rei whipped his head around to glare at me, his mouth full of curry.
何言ってるの？とは前にも傷を放置して可能させて熱を出したことがあったじゃない。小さな怪我だからって甘く見てると危ないのよ。特にとはそういうのいい加減なんだから。どうしてできたのかわからない怪我なんて怖いし、ちゃんと治療した方がいいわ。
You know, honestly, these two are like this little like 3-pair kind of situation is hilarious on its own, you know. It was trying to sound like my mom or something. I shrugged. Oh boy. Okay. Let's take a look, baby. After we finished our food, we briefly borrowed the exam room before the clinic reopened in the afternoon. Oh, I see. Taku took my arm and carefully examined the cut. Yeah.
刃物？切られたってこと？やだ、怖い。
Oh boy. Rei frowned as he peered at my wound from behind me.
怪我としては大きいものじゃないからすぐに治るだろうけどな。お前、本当に覚えてないのか？
That was like, I didn't do it! I didn't do it though.
切ってない。
Taku used a pair of tweezers to gently rub a cotton ball soaked with disinfectant against the cut, which began to sting. Once the wound was disinfected, he slathered ointment onto a strip of gauze and pressed it against my arm, using tape to secure it in place. Then he wrapped a bandage around it.
これでよしと。大丈夫だとは思うが。
Okay, I need to pay attention to when this screen flashes because, you know.
もう飲むのはいいけど本当に気をつけてよね。
Like you wanna get drunk.
多分な。
最悪。
それにしても理由はわからないんだが最近多いんだよ。
何が？
What has?
酔いつぶれて怪我をしたって患者さんがな。
前から結構いた気がするけど、もっと増えてるってこと？
ああ、高里組の締め付けがきつくなってるって話だから追い詰められて酒に逃げる人が増えてるのかもしれんな。
Is that the artiste?
と、
You know, the artiste guy?
午後の診察始まるぞ。
Time to reopen, baby.
はい。
Hi. Once he put away his medical equipment, Taku rose to his feet. Likewise, Rei filed out of the room.
お前、今日は休みだったよな。まだ気分が悪いなら上でおとなしく寝とけよ。
He's not gonna get rest, Taku, but okay. I still had a hangover headache, but it was nothing I couldn't tolerate. As I stepped out into the hall, I passed Aremura, holding a bouquet in his arms.
買ってきたのか？
違いますよ。今配達が来たんですけど、誰からなのか不明で。
Sussy. He blinked at me with a straight face.
不明？
No card.
ええ。
No.
なので、泉さんへ聞きに行こうと思っていて。僕の代わりに聞いてきてもらえませんか？
As he spoke, I noticed he was blushing faintly. I'd forgotten that this dude had a major crush on Rei. Oh, that's right.
お前が聞いてこいよ。
Why can't you do it?
今手が離せないんです。なので、
I'm very busy. You mean You don't wanna... You're too shy. You're too shy.
本当にいいのか?
You sure you want to?
何がですか? いいんですよ。早く言ってください。
Oh wow. He sensed what I was getting at and glared at me reproachfully. Then he thrust the bouquet into my hands. The moment I took it, a strange scent tickled my nose. I thought maybe it was the flowers, so I sniffed them, but it wasn't that. Next, I looked at the payment slip. The only sender listed was the flower shop itself. I looked up to find that Aramura had already left.
あら、何よその花、可愛いじゃない。
He said it's cute though, not pretty, but whatever. I won't be too rough about it. Just then, Rei walked over from the staff room.
ガーベラかしら。ピンクでとっても可愛いわね。どうしたのこの花？
誰かから送られてきたらしい。
誰かって？
I don't know.
わからないってこと？
It says not. He looked at me dubiously, so I showed him the payment slip.
花屋の名前しか書いてないじゃない。
有村が困ってた。
恥ずかしがり屋の患者さんなのかしら。
Shy patient or someone.
それともタクの知り合いとか。
Oh boy.
何にしろ誰からなのかわからないのはもやもやするわね。
Yeah, who's it supposed to be for? You know what I'm saying? He put a hand to his chin in contemplation, then looked at me.
ねえ、トワ、この花屋へ行って聞いてきてよ。
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the next step. You know, I've sent flowers before, to like, this is gonna sound so weird. I've sent flowers to like the mother, and sister of a person that passed away, and they didn't know me personally, so I just kind of like said, I sent like a little card, and the flower shop, I think the flower shop gave them my phone number, which is, you know, just to be sure, which is fine. And so she ended up calling me. So that's a good step, Rei. Smart cookie. The flower shop can't really tell you too much though if they don't give you enough information though. I did it just so she wouldn't be confused, you know, so. Anyway, let's go to the store. I fixed him with a defiant look. Why the hell would I go to his flower shop? He's right now. He's right. For fun.
いいじゃない。今日はお休みなんだし。それともそんなに二日酔いがひどいの？
Towa's like, not really. Not really.
それじゃお願いね。お花は私が飾っておくわ。
Ray's just like, in the meantime, I would like to pot these. He took the bouquet from me and winked. Times like these, I couldn't hold my ground against him. If I didn't do exactly as he asked, I'd only get an earful later. Not only that, but Rei knew I wouldn't waste my energy fighting him on it. I looked down at the payment slip in my hands and let out a sigh. This must be the third guy, right? Unless this is like part of the mystery or something. Ultimately, I left the clinic and headed to the flower shop. As I walked, I used the GPS app to orient myself in the right direction. Before long, my destination came into view up ahead. All right, let's go, besties. The store had a sign that read "Rosé," with glass panels that displayed the plants for sale. Inside, I peered in from the outside. There was a single male clerk standing inside with no customers in sight. I walked over to the door and slowly pulled it open. Oh.
いらっしゃいませ。
You look a little sus. You're looking a little potential, but not potential enough. Okay. Sus. Welcome. The clerk walked over to me.
聞きたいことがあるんだけど。
I have a question.
はい、なんでしょう。
なんでしょう? His expression faltered slightly in the face of my brusque attitude. I pulled the payment slip out of my coat pocket and showed it to him. He recognized it and nodded.
村瀬クリニックさんへの配達ですね。何か問題が？
誰から送られた
I
花
want to know who sent it.
知りたい。
He looked at me with a slightly guilty
す
frown.
みません。こちらはどうしても匿名でと受けたまわっており。
どうしても。
No matter what?
はい。なのでお答えするわけには。
That sort of policy doesn't do the receipt any favors, you know. Oh, recipient any favors, you know.
確かにそうですよね。この時は自分が対応したんですが、花を贈られたのは皆さんにいつもお世話になっているから感謝を伝えたいと、そうおっしゃられていたので。
Interesting.
匿名にした理由
Then
は
why did they want to be kept anonymous? Yeah.
恥ずかしいので知られたくないと。
Interesting. This clerk was telling the truth, and there was no real reason to force a name out of him. If anything, that'd just be rude to the patient.
わかった。どうも。
I nodded and turned away. I wanted to leave this place ASAP. For some reason, I couldn't stand the leafy aroma of the plants here. With that thought, I opened the glass door and quickly distanced myself from all the greenery. Sus? Oh. Darn, I'd officially accomplished the task Rei wanted me to do. And since I wasn't scheduled to work at the clinic today, I had some time on my hands. I figured maybe I'd wander around town before heading back home. Oh, free exploration! It's too early to head home. Alright, okay. So, I think after this... Ooh. I can hear someone, I have no business here. Okay, what we can do... We already did this. Ooh, the cafe. This can be the last bit of this section. I've actually gone over time, but I don't want to quite leave it yet. I kind of want to like go around just a tad. Let's see here. What did I say? Yeah, we don't have to head back yet. Let's go here. Ooh, the blues? Yeah, let's go. I can hear someone. He said he was going. Okay, let's go here. Let's go hit some blues, and then we'll save. and then we'll end for tonight. Alright, this is the park located at the entrance to District E. Not much to say about it except on weekends they sometimes hold concerts, rummage sales, and other events here. In the evenings you see a lot of kids around, possibly due to the large-scale combined K-12 school located close by. Since the park is situated at the foot of the bridge, all District E residents have to pass through it to reach District D. Consequently, you'll see people of every stripe around here, from students to office workers to prostitutes. The park is rich with plants and trees, and many people come here to relax. I can hear ambulance sirens in the distance, on the other side of the bridge. Just another part of daily life in Shinkoumi.
Hi!
Who are you?
Yo.
Oh gosh, not you guys again. I'm so sick of you. But who else did I expect? I'm not that sick of them. I'm just like, you guys need to go catch the hint. Okay, guess we'll talk. Okay. Yeah, what's up? I've got a question. If somebody asked you which you like better, booze or smokes, what would you tell them? Both. You guys got half a brain cell. Okay. No need to choose. Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. Let me try negative this time. Because I've only been... Okay, good. I know. What's the difference? Yeah, exactly. But I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure what order to do it in. Oh, Lord. What does it matter? Oh, what's gotten into you? Let's get a move on already. The order we do it totally changes my motivation level. Whatever, let's just go see you around, Towa. See you. Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on, let's see here. Is this my information booklet? Okay. Always rambles at me. Okay. Okay, so this is the people. De Kotaro. Okay. Kalu. This is phrase. Wormwood. Page 1. Okay. What is this? Okay, so that's what I have. And then what is this? Ooh. Okay. And then I think that's it. Okay. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Probably, even though I don't want to. Okay. As I walked down the street, I noticed a line of people outside a small shop. I could smell something sweet. Probably a bakery, then. Upon further inspection, I spotted Rei at the end of the line.
Oi.
What are you doing here? Huh? Don't perceive me right now. Me. I mean, not like it's that embarrassing or whatever. Okay, what are we doing?
これはね。
Ooh, a cake! I'm here to buy a limited edition cake. Oh, wanna eat it with me after? No, say yes, Towa. I want the cake. Yeah, I figured as much. He seems happy. Make a joke. No, we gotta go up. We gotta go up. He seems happy.
Positive.
Positive. You really like your sweets, don't you? Like them. Oh, I love them. I would like totally die without my sugar fix. I see. Good, good. Ooh.
それじゃね。
Anyway, gotta go snag myself a piece of heaven. See you later, Towa. See you.
何?
Okay. Alright. Yanagawa? I haven't been here. We haven't been here, right? Okay. Oh boy. This is Yanagawa Cafe. It's a popular lunch spot in this area. And since it's only about a 5-minute walk from the clinic, we come here a lot. It's been open for 20 years and the interior is pleasantly peaceful.
いらっしゃいませ。
Oh, hi. She's like the first girl I've seen in a while besides like the old ladies, and I'm just like, whoa, she looks like she does not like to pop in the club. Come on in, how many? Table for 1, smoking section. You got it, right this way. Okay. What's the tea here?
の。
Why does she talk like that? I'll take a coffee, any kind. Coming right up. I lit a cigarette and gazed aimlessly around the room. Some customers were drinking coffee and reading the newspaper, while others were cutting up the cafe's famous honey toast. Most of them were familiar faces, regulars who always came by for lunch. As I smoked my cigarette, the waitress returned carrying a mug of coffee. Thanks for waiting. Here's your Yanagawa House blend. I took the mug and raised it to my lips. The faint acidity and rich scent wafted up to greet me. It made me realize just how seldom I I don't know that word. Imbibed something this mild imbibed? I'll look it up later. I'll look it up in the dictionary. As the fragrance of the coffee beans lingered, I raised my cigarette to my lips. Who else is here? Yeah, there's no one here. Okay, I guess we'll move. No business. Ooh, yeah, let's go back. Let's go back. I wonder if I'll catch somebody. The flower shop. I was just here. The instant I walked in, a fresh, earthy smell hit my nostrils. For some reason, this place made me uncomfortable.
こんにちは。
Oh, it's you. Yes, it is me. What do you need? Ooh, let's go. Seems a little guarded. Let's just go up. Let's just be cool. Let's just build up some not repertoire. Let's just build up some camaraderie. So you're just browsing, that's all. Oh, right, of course. I want to know more about the flowers we were sent. Oh, in that case. Okay.
Hi.
There you go. Is there anything else I can help you with? No, that's everything. I hope you'll come by again sometime. Okay, good. Okay. Old lady. Oh, is he not in? Cafe manager. He must not be that important. Okay. It must not be that important. Okay. Alright. Up, up. Ooh, interesting. From Ray's Joy. Okay. Interesting.
ありがとうございます。
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Nothing. Nothing. Is there really like nothing here though? It's like... Yeah, see, there's like nothing here. Okay, that's fine. 'Tis fine! Okay. Let's give it a talksies. Oh, hello, Taku. Oh, hey, Towa. Let's talk, baby.
No.
What are you groaning to yourself about? Oh, well, it's just... Takayama-san invited me to get drinks tonight, but I'm not sure I can compete with that lush. Much as I love booze, if I go drinking with Takayama-san, I'll have to prepare myself for a real nasty hangover. But I can't keep rejecting the invite every time.
Negative.
Let's go up. Just say no, it's fine. Easy for you to say. Networking is a lot more complicated than it seems. Interesting. Towa, why don't you go? You'll get a lot of free booze out of it. And that's no problem for you since you drink like a fish. Perfect. What if I told you I'm interested? You serious? Don't be silly. Oh, poor thing. Well, whatever. Maybe I could just go for an hour or two, then leave early. Well, back to work. I'm out of here. Alright. Alright. Okay, back to the house. Or... No, hold on a second. Okay. I just wanted to know why it was still kind of blue, but I think it's fine. No business, no business, no business. There's no business here, but let's see. I like to kind of try and figure out when the game's being a little funny. Okay, there we go. Okay, I see. Okay, back home. Oh, let me see if I can I make them all green? Doo-doo. Uh-huh. Okay, so they don't all like turn green or anything. Yeah, okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. So, yeah, let's just go. Let's just go home. Call it a day, baby. Babe. Okay. Back in my apartment, I turned on the TV and flopped down onto the sofa. My mind wandered as I slid a cigarette between my lips. For a moment, I thought maybe I should tell Rei about the anonymous flower sender, but before I could grab my phone, I changed my mind. Interesting. Late that night, I paid a visit to Roost like usual.
いらっしゃい。
Welcome! The manager called out to me quietly as I entered. I walked to the counter and sat down on an empty stool.
何にする?
ウォッカ、ロックで。
My man. He grabbed a glass, dropped in some ice, then poured in the liquor. Once the cup was full of clear liquid, he handed it to me. I slid it over and took a small sip. Then I pulled out a cigarette and lit it.
そうだ、トワ君。
Actually, that reminds me. Towa-kun.
ありがとうございました。
Rei! Rei's here. Rei's loud voice cut in as he and a man I didn't recognize walked out from the back room.
今日はありがとう。
Sorry, the way his name is listed is funny.
こちらこそ。いつでもどうぞ。
こちら. The man bowed to Rei and the manager, then left the bar. After he was gone, Rei whirled around to look at me like he'd only just noticed me.
あらとは来てたの？
今のは客か？
そう。体に磁石入れてみたいんだって。
Ooh, okay. In other words, he was one of Rei's body modification clients.
レイ君、お客さんが呼んでるよ。
あ、はい。オーダー取ってきます。とは、今日は飲みすぎないでね。
With that semi-serious warning, he strolled off to the customer's table. Exhaling cigarette smoke, I pulled my cell phone out of my pocket. Then I navigated to the fourth face and scrolled through the new articles. Before long, I arrived at the wound photo from before. It was still every bit as eye-catching.
店長。
Hey, boss. I showed him my phone screen over the counter.
これ、何に見える？
What does this look like to you?
ああ、それ、ブログの画像だよね。フレーズの。
傷に見えるけど違う。
See, it looks like it's a wound, but it's not.
さっき話そうとしたことなんだけどね。
Yes, yes,
フレーズにあったよ。
yes, give me clues. At this I lowered my phone.
連絡があったのか？
You got in touch with them?
いや、
No, actually he came to the
店に来て名
bar.
乗ったんだよ。自分がそうだって。
どんなやつだった？
男性だよ。見た目は普通かな。この町には最近来たみたいで、メールアドレスの件について謝られた。今は使ってないものを間違えて記入してしまったって。それでね、名乗り出てくれたお礼に好きな飲み物をおごるよって言ったら、なんて答えたと思う？アブさんって言うんだよ。あの独特の香りが好きなんだって。そんなことを言う人は初めてだから。
何がどうしたの？あ、店長、オーダ
ー。Ray cut into the conversation in order to pass on the customer's request.
店のブログに載せた傷の画像あるでしょ？
そうなんだ。とはよかったじゃない。
Good. Ow. Beaming Ray clapped me on the shoulder and the unexpected impact made me cough.
あ、ねえとは、そういえばクリニックに花を送った人って誰だったの？
言ったよ。匿名希望だから言えないってさ。
そうなの？それはそれで困るわね。
うちの患者だろうとは言ってた。いつも世話になってるから送ったとかなんとか。
そっか。それじゃあやっぱり患者さんの誰かなのかな。
花が送られてきたの
？As Ray murmured pensively, the manager cut in half-dried glass in hand.
クリニックに届いたんだけど、誰からなのかが書いてなかったのよ。それでトアが今日は休みだったから花屋に直接聞きに行ってもらったの。
そうなんだ。どんな花？
ピンクのガーベラ。あ、ねえねえ、ガーベラの花言葉って知ってる？
花言葉？知らないな。
No idea. He's like, no idea. Ray looked from the manager to me. Wordlessly, I shook my head.
崇光美ですって。
Ooh, sublime beauty.
崇光美？なんだかうやうやしい響きのある花言葉だね。
そうね。送ってくれた患者さんはそういうの関係なく見た目で選んだんでしょうけど。
I mean, I highly doubt that,
それにしてもレイ君、
they probably knew exactly what they were doing.
花言葉なんてよく知ってるね。
I'm not surprised. It's Ray.
花のタトゥーを入れたいっていうお客さんが結構いるから、
yeah, that
花
doesn't
について
surprise
調
me.
べたことがあるの。その時に花言葉があるって知ってちょっとハマっちゃったのよね。
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was
だっ
like,
てロマンチックじゃない？
It's so on brand of Ray to know about flower language. He clasped his hands at his chest and swooned.
すべての花に意味がつけられてるなんて。
あ、レイ君、お客さんが呼んでるよ。
Hi!
Rei hastily unclasped his hands and headed over to the customer who had raised his hand for service.
トワ君、今度フレーズに紹介しようか。
Yes! Say yes! The manager's voice left his lips in a conspiratorial whisper. Admittedly, I was a little curious about Phrase, but not that desperate to meet the guy.
ま、機会があれば。
Towa, you're killing me. I took a sip of my watery vodka and slowly swallowed. Slow damage. Yes! I got it. Sorry. Alright. Okay, so... Okay, I really want to continue, but I am... Oops. I am what you call, what do I say? Yes. Oh gosh, I haven't been saving this whole time. Oh my gosh, that's so scary. I'm living dangerously. Okay. Yeah. We're Gucci. All right. Thank you guys for joining me on this first episode of Slow Damage. I went way over for this episode, but I wanted to try to get to at least the third romantic choice. But it seems like this game is a lot more story heavy than I realized. Not that, you know, most visual novels are story heavy, and I'm not talking about in the sussy way, but this one's pretty story heavy, and it has an actual game component to it besides just the visual novel portion. I have been really enjoying the game, as you can tell by me going over in the time limit that I was going to give myself for this episode. But as of filming this, we will be reaching the last day of Romance Month, which also equals my my Fast and Furious return to regular live streaming again. But this will definitely be posted latest the 28th of February, which means the rest of Romance Month, the VOD archives probably haven't come out yet because there's quite a few of them, but they will come out in March as I finish the VODs. In March, we will continue into White Day. We will be celebrating White Day in March. And I will continue part 2 of Slow Damage next month. I don't know how often I will post these episodes for Slow Damage, but I am an impatient woman. I want to know what this game has in store for our very interesting hero, Towa-san. He's quite the interesting protagonist. He is quite apathetic and has a very yeah, he's got a lot going on. He's definitely a very damaged main character, which is a lot different from Aoba, who is he has a lot more energy, a lot happier, a lot less damaged. No pun intended. No direct pun intended, but this has been really, really interesting. The world building is really interesting. I always love the world building in nitro+chiral. They always make such interesting settings, if I'll put it that way. This has been very enjoyable. I'm really enjoying myself, and when I get a little quiet, it's because I'm really like trying to pay attention to each character. The dynamic between Taku, Rei, and Towa is very interesting, very found family. I'm very interested to see what the other two main love interests have in store for us. based on the preview, they're looking pretty interesting. So I'm just assuming Fries is the third love interest. I mean, there's always someone crazy, you know. It is a nitro+chiral game. What is, hold on, let me see here. New canvas, sketches. So I can now load the save file. Work in progress. Ooh, toggle, very interesting. Okay, great. Tools, change settings. Yeah, okay. So this was a really great time. I'm really enjoying myself. I feel like I'm back in my element, you know, with the with the boys love dating sim game, visual novels. Like, this is truly how I really got into visual novels, even though back then there was no really there was not many localized versions that I could really play, besides, you know, us putting in a little program in there to rudimentarily translate the game. So anyway, like I said, thank you so much for joining me. Look forward to episode 2. I cannot wait to get farther in this game. This game is bussin' so far. It is really dark and you know, very, very interesting. I'm very interested to see what other mysteries I can solve next episode. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode, and thank you so much for joining me for Romance Month. And I'll see you next month for White Day. See you later. Have a good night. Keep on smooching. Stay happy, healthy, and well. And I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.